This was given to me by Gunny Tate.
Oh, yeah.
It was hand-selected. I refill it with the same stuff, so it's not the actual barrel. But I find it appropriate to drink this on the podcast with shared members of my old unit. So if you'd pass your glasses over, I will force a shot upon y'all. I'll do introduction. To my left, we have Jesus Sanchez, former Victor 2-1, Platoon Corpsman. What section do y'all have, like, sections?
We have teams.
What team were you?
I think I was 3.
Team 3?
4. 3 or 4. I did both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like me and Mason and a few other guys. It's like, yeah, I was Cat Blue, but also a senior line at another point and like some other shit.
Yeah, I've been hoarded around quite a bit.
And then across from me, I have the great Gabriel Parker, former Fox Company. What platoon?
Second platoon.
Second platoon.
Sure.
And both of these gentlemen are now part of the first Civ Div.
God, it's great.
It is nice.
Love it.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Sure. All right. Y'all are fresh in from Arizona. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having us, man.
This is the 25th of August. Tomorrow's a heavy day. We don't have to talk about it. I mean, it's going to come up naturally as it is right now. But I'm waking up early. I think it'd be pretty awkward if y'all didn't wake up early and my kids jump on y'all or like, who's the brown man on the couch? But
it's one of them.
Yeah. But yeah, going to the crosses, it's always, does it have to be that steep?
I don't know, man.
You know,
when I explain it to people, it's like, it's a really shitty hike.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's one of, honestly, so 29 Palms is a different beast. Obviously, you have sand, and it's just like, that's what makes it difficult. Like, any sort of incline with any amount of sand just makes it shitty. But nothing, like, obviously, if it's that steep of a hill and it has consistent sand on it, you just can't go up
There's
it.
no way.
But here, that was the first thing I did was, hey, guys, we're going on deployment. Doc, did you hear about what we're doing tomorrow? No, what's up? Bring a light med bag. I only have one med bag. And we're going to the crosses. And I'm just already not in the best shape, coming off of like a 14-day quarantine. And like everybody else's boots and utes. I didn't have much of a fighting chance, and I have a full med bag. And yeah, that was fucking painful. And then like everybody's smoking and drinking at the top. I'm just like, what's going on here? Like, we don't have this in 2-9. But I like to get up there super early because I don't like to keep pace with anyone or whatever, a little meditative, but I don't know.
No, for sure. I mean, I think we're gonna go up there and struggle a little bit, because we're not used to that anymore. So,
well, I think we're a struggle, and I don't know if you know anything like about the hurricane. Like, I wonder if that shifted anything in general.
Might have. Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm worrying about is just it being not firm.
Yeah. Honestly, remember when y'all were still here last year? Kind of towards the beginning of getting back from the deployment, it just rained a lot. Mm-hmm. That's basically what that tropical storm was. It just rained a little bit and was windy.
Isn't Barcelona washed out though?
That was from like the rain earlier this year that filled up all the basins, and like all of California was just like rich with water, and like all the rivers and everything were like revived, and like wildlife returned, and fucking dolphins and rainbows. I don't know. You want to hear something gnarly? I don't know if y'all heard this. I think a fighter jet went down yesterday at Miramar.
Oh, I did hear about that, yeah.
And they haven't found the pilot, and I've been hearing helicopters all day out by from my neighborhood, which is close to the beach.
Yeah.
Pretty gnarly.
They still haven't found him?
He ejected. I would assume he probably got injured on the something.
Was it over the water?
Probably shot his asshole through his neck. And, I'm sorry I know that's offensive, but.
To some.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know what happened at SOI? I know I was telling Jesus about that.
Yeah.
I was like, what the? Because the whole thing, we hit you up like last minute was, I was talking to Justin, and he's like, oh, yeah, someone went and, did something crazy, so I can't be doing anything because we're actually running the range here this week. I was like, oh. I don't know if I wanted.
Are you talking about the grenade?
It might be a grenade. I know someone died.
At SOA.
Okay, so I guess it wasn't a grenade then.
When?
Sometime recently.
So about a month ago, a PFC dropped a grenade, and the instructor tossed him out, took a bit of frag. The guy almost lost a limb. I think he's gonna get a full recovery. I was texting everybody over there. Everybody good. I was texting Gunny. I was texting Rambo. Just everybody good? We're good. Gunny's I'm gonna see him at the hospital. He's good. Okay. And then someone told me some banana shit today that the private was like, you want to die today? And they're like, what the fuck did you say? But I don't think I believe that. I think that's a little far-fetched of a story. One of our HNs at track, dude, there's 12 of us, was up the range, I'd say a quarter mile from the grenade range, doing a completely different range, and responded and put some kind of literally put some band-aids on some people, and straight up getting a NAM and put up for map.
Hell yeah, dude. Good for them.
Yeah, I mean, I can't knock the kid for doing the simple thing that was required of him, but the overreaction of just oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big reason why I wanted to leave, honestly.
Yeah, man.
Fuck the name.
The overreaction? For you or in
The
general?
overreaction for very specific groups of people in the Navy, and then the underreaction.
Oh, I really enjoyed the underreaction.
Yeah, it's an interesting dichotomy, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Some people had that straight, hey, you're the best. And other people are just you do the exact same thing and you're shit.
It all feels like, okay, Sean
What about Sean?
could do no wrong.
No.
Could do no wrong in the eyes of his superiors and his sergeants. But the same thing he would do, other people would get in trouble for.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All the time.
He was a major shit talker, too. He didn't give a fuck.
Correct.
Yeah.
In his senior leadership chat of the Marine Corps with First Sergeant and Captain Rod, it was a sub chat, but still going hard.
Yeah.
And it's just damn, dude, nothing. Everybody he's got a personality. Everybody seems to love him. And then you just have other people that just shit sticks on them like glue. Man, that sucks. Yeah, but you're not a bad guy.
Well, that's the thing. I think I wasn't a bad guy. It's just, I think everybody liked me, but if you got to a certain level and you were higher up, you just didn't like me for some reason, which I don't know.
Who do you think didn't like you? I mean, you're
Every single chief.
Really?
Yeah. Then that's so
G through
everyone.
G through C through the last guy?
The last guy.
He was very robotic, in my opinion.
So, what was it?
I remember.
Yeah,
remember the last one.
I was talking.
You can say his name. I can't remember his name.
I don't remember his name at all.
Chief.
That's it.
Oh, yeah. He, what was it? I had some pay problems, and I hadn't realized. And then I went to him, and I was like, yeah, my pay's all messed up, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, what are you doing about it? And I was like, well, I went through this. I talked to these people, basically going down the whole line, because I talked to Ace, Yeah. And I was getting everything settled. And then he listened to me for 2 minutes while I was talking. And then he looks at me, and it's just so what are you going to do about this? I was like, I was like, I'll figure it out because I was like, I'm not explaining the fucking story again.
Yeah.
And then who's G didn't like me because I remember I got back from deployment.
Why didn't G like you? Just
You
don't know?
you tell him. I don't know.
Dude, I honestly don't remember.
Well, I came back from deployment. Swag.
Oh, it's because you didn't have your pin. Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, you didn't have your pin, and you had the whole deployment.
Oh,
and it
that's
was like, oh, dude, this dude's lazy. Yeah, you know how it is when you don't have your pin.
Well, because it's like Benson, Swag, Jesus over here. They're all telling me like, yeah, he just doesn't like you because you're lazy. And I'm like, man, the only thing lazy in a sense was not getting my pin. And even then, I like knew the whole book. It was more at a certain point in time. It was after like I kind of feel like being disrespected so much. I was like, fuck you. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm not getting this shit.
I get it.
And then I'm out now. I'm doing the best I can. I got certain things going for me. So it's like, what does it matter?
Doing the best I can.
Yeah, exactly.
Has it hindered you in any way?
No,
getting out?
not one person asked me, hey, did you get your pin?
No, but I'm talking about like eval wise.
No.
Like 2 SPs, right?
Yeah, 2 SPs. It didn't do nothing. I remember Braden was telling me, he's like, yeah, you'd have to get like 6 or 7 SPs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't give a shit then.
Yeah, I tried to look it up for someone because I have some people in my command that are like, they're actually doing a pretty valiant effort, but they're like, if I fail in any part, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm, like, one of them's, like, going to nursing school, like, on her way, doing all her prereqs, everything while she's still in, like, using all the free shit you can, the TA, everything. And she's like, I did, like, a little mock murder board, and, like, she's giving a valiant effort, but, I tried looking it up for him because I remember finding it because at one point I didn't give a shit, dude. I thought I was getting kicked out of the Navy. I didn't have a security clearance. I was like shamed, all these different fucking things. Yeah. And it wasn't till like the very end of deployment I felt like it was being given away in certain aspects because it was certain aspects.
I got my pin fair and square.
I'm not saying you didn't. But
I'm not even saying anything on that. More of the people, some people who got it, like, if you think about it, they sucked. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they got it, and I'm not saying it's like the worst thing ever. It's just one of those things where certain people who got it, I'm just like, okay, there's no point because if they got it, they're just the worst corpsman ever.
yeah, I felt like it mattered about like the weather that day. And if that person got served extra cheese on their eggs or whatever, like you ever, I don't know, my mom always talks about this. If I ever go to court, I know that's a trashy statement, but like going to court to like fight some stupid bullshit ticket, right? And she's like, I hope that judge had a great morning. I hope there was no fighting at their house. And I hope he's blessed with you. I'm like, thanks, Mom. And they're just like, double the fine. But, and I just feel like it just depends on who decided to sit on your board that was bored, that didn't have anything going on and wanted to hang out and fuck with you or on deployment. And like one of the really things I can't really wrap my head around because I got my pin fair and square, believe it or not. But Rodriguez passed his murder board and failed his chief's board the next day.
What?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
On deployment.
Oh, no shit.
That's why he was like, yeah, I don't want to get it anymore.
Yeah. I was like, dude, because kind of the same thing with Sankey. Sankey was like right there. And they're like, dude, show up tomorrow and test out on chapter this and that. And he's like, I'm leaving at 5 a.m. tomorrow. They're like, oh, okay. Well, eat shit. And he came back, and I remember like getting motivated at times, like, yo, dude, you're close. You wrote out all your note cards. He had like stacks of note cards. I was like, dude, let's get back in it. And he's just like, I don't know, man. I was so close. I didn't get it. I don't know if I care. That pretty much happened the same thing to me. Like,
Yeah.
I really busted my ass. I kind of misprepared myself in certain aspects. I didn't think I was going to get it was nothing on y'all. I didn't think I was going to get nearly as far. And like, dude, I just remember like finishing up core on my first final board. I was just like, oh, that went really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't study GCE, and then I failed every single question.
Yeah.
And then the next time, it was like me and Manriquez and like this other dude. I was just like, oh, dude, yeah. Fucking few questions here, few questions there. We're done. This is great. And, but it's just such a, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck until I got to tracks and my chief vested time in me and went to bat for me and gave a fuck for me to give a fuck. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I've expressed this before. I don't think Chief's bad. I don't think is bad. I don't think anybody over there is malicious, though at times I did think they were, but I've kind of calmed down on some of that shit. But I think it's pretty clear they kind of don't care. And dude, when I failed and it was just like, all right, man, no one wanted to say anything to me, dude. No one wanted to give me a pep talk or like fucking anything. And then I finally got my eval. And the thing that burns me up is, yeah, it's the division order or whatever that they give a SP. They made a stricter guideline. But what they didn't say is that you have to say not recommended for retention, which they put on my eval. So I lost my quota.
Did you get it back? Or are you like getting kicked out?
The eval disappeared. I don't know what happened.
Oh, nice.
It's two chiefs went like this a little bit, and then I got an EP.
Hell yeah. Happy to hear it.
Thanks,
Finally
man.
got that EP.
Yeah, finally. Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, no. Dude, your old LPO from wherever the fuck, right? He's now a chief. It's like chief or something. They were talking about it, and he like closed the door, and he's like, this is bullshit. Y'all shouldn't be doing this. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And they're like, y'all are not supposed to, it's very clear in the instruction, you're not supposed to give someone an EP and try and put them up for a meritorious package in order to incentivize them to re-enlist. And that's what they were trying to do with you.
Oh, 100%.
And that is like completely against the rules.
Yeah. No, I mean, after I lost that map, I was like, there's no way. There's just no way in hell.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
But who got the map?
Yeah.
Over you and Mayo, right?
Yeah. I was like, no, dude, what? He literally sold more belt buckles when he got promoted. Me and Mayo saved lives in Afghanistan.
Literally saved lives, yeah.
And yeah, you can go fuck off. So
yeah, he was like head of the JEA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, nothing to him.
No, good on him for sure.
But that's clearly like what is a failure of the Navy. I'll bleep her name. Do you know who HM2 is?
I think so. CTM?
The hot chick at CTM?
Yeah.
I went to FMTB with her, and she was like, my ass looks good in scrubs. My ass looks good in camis. My whole head shed always would come down and talk to me. I'm a friendly face. They all knew my name. And then I think she mentioned someone else, and they're like, who? And they're like, this person that's been here the entire time? And she's been meritorious like every rank. No shame. I feel no shame in her game.
No, absolutely not.
How is that her fault that people are naturally attracted to her? Mm-hmm. But the optics of her, of a pretty face that looks tight and uniform, or the guy that is visible around Horno doing JEA, doing the optics vision of being seen and doing things, and then you and Mayo are doing your job to the most professional ability you can, and they're just like, meh. Yeah.
Fuck those guys, man.
Yeah. Welcome, dude.
It's all good, man.
I mean,
disabled.
Yeah. Do you have a job?
Yeah, I do have a job.
What do you do?
I'm a school nurse for Amazon.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Wait. Hold on. There's your cousin's dog sitter? What? Like what?
No, so I work at Amazon as a on-site medical rep. I basically do like So it's first aid, very basic care. It's sick call essentially for the workers there.
Okay, I understand what you mean by school nurse.
Yeah.
Okay, you're like the nurse at a high school. You're a very unqualified medical.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like the term nurse is very. Are they nurses at those high schools?
No, I don't think so.
But they're called the school nurse. Yeah. And so you're just like some dude with some medical training.
Yeah.
That got hired at Amazon for sick call, like
Exactly.
clinic work of the.
It's not even clinic work. That's like, I give out Band-Aids and like OTC meds. That's about it. It's pretty dope though. I mean,
do you have to do documentation?
Yeah, I do. I write notes. Yeah.
Like soap notes?
Yeah, for like initial reports and stuff. Yeah.
Do you have a boss? Like someone that's like a higher echelon of medical training?
So they're not like a higher echelon of medical. They're not like an actual nurse or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they oversee the whole safety crew at Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you have like a OSHA rep or something.
Yeah, we have like building safety that does like, audits on the floor and stuff. And you have me who just sees patients.
So,
dude, it's cool because like you're supposed to be an EMT when you get that job.
Mm-hmm.
But they just gave me the job.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. I was like, I'm not an EMT.
Yeah. So my buddy who was a SEAL actually had a few good jobs. But he was kind of the old cloth where it's like, you don't talk about this shit. We're silent professionals. You don't, and he calls it cashing in on your trident. That's what he said the term is like you get out, you David Goggins that shit right on the front of your fucking book. And you put it in the corner of your resume like a printout of the fucking trident. And I'm a Navy SEAL and he's like, he was having trouble getting a job. And then he didn't do all that, but he put, I was a Navy SEAL in his resume in a professional manner. And he was he got a job by GE doing fracking on oil wells out in Louisiana, like inspecting caps of these like fracked oil wells. He got all these other job offers and he wound up getting a job with like some family friends, but the way he got that job is he was offered this dollar amount with benefits and a vehicle. And then they were like, hey, we want you to work for us. He goes, well, this was my job offer. And they're like, we'll match it. And it wasn't a good job working for a bunch of females. But if you put it out there, man, you'll get some bites.
Yeah, for sure.
I find that with like, if you shoot your shot on like a lot of these dudes on social media or like companies, or it's like a few dudes when I was still interested in trying to go back to buds, like some dudes that were putting out like workout programs on YouTube and shit, and like a couple of musicians, just like emailed them randomly, and like a month later I just get like an email back. I'm like, do you know who Jonathan Ward from Icon is? Those awesome FJ Cruisers and Broncos up in LA.
Yeah.
He has emailed me twice back. Like, I'm just like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like, shoot your shot on some of that shit, dude. That's fucking dope. What's their policy on anyway.
On the icky? On the icky sticky?
So Parker, did you ever sell that shit box of a car? I'll buy it now, dude.
Well, technically it's not under my name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about this. Should I divorce my wife?
If you love her, probably not,
What's the definition of love? Sex robot?
It could be.
Does she watch these?
No, not at all. But I tell her about what I say all the time.
Doesn't give a shit.
No, she thinks I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, not like really thinks that. She just thinks she called me cheeky today. She's European. She's like, being a little cheeky, huh? I'm like,
what does that even mean, man?
And she said it in a way I played it off so good. I was like, no, I think he's just talking about his cars. So your wife's a bitch, huh?
Yeah. She is. She's a bitch. But
future ex-wife.
Future ex-wife, yes. Going through a divorce right now, even though she's still trying to get back together. But yeah, I have a protection order against her, and I'm trying to get her served, but she won't tell me where she is.
Hey,
hey, funny enough, she told me that she goes to the gym. Somehow she knew I was in San Diego.
Very weird.
Very weird.
Dude, go through you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Might want to check those apps, dude. Check those back
I went through
doors,
everything.
bro.
There shouldn't be anything. I did a lot of, because she was in my Instagram at one point in time.
Yeah.
And then, because I had messaged Jesus about, do you remember what it was?
No, I messaged you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He messaged me because there was this girl in our FMTB class that I thought was pretty, right?
You wanted to fuck her. Yeah.
Pretty.
I think he said it in a nice way.
Yeah, I'm going to say it in a nice way, but I thought she was attractive. And then another guy ended up dating her, and then they're married. But he messaged me. He's like, oh, they're getting a divorce. And I was like, bro, don't fuck with me, man. Like, you can't be joking about that shit. And then my future ex-wife, then probably a day later, hits me up and she says, oh, I thought this girl was married. What do you... And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, the only person I've ever talked to this about is Jesus. How? And then I think I was working, and I called him, and I'm like, what the fuck? And his fiance right now told me, like, go on Instagram, see if like it's logged in somewhere else, and it was logged in somewhere over here in California. And I'm like, oh. So she was hacked into my Instagram account. That's fucking
Nice, dude. That's always cool.
sick.
You're a good person. Yeah. That shit's ugly, man.
That's really ugly.
Shit's ugly when it gets ugly, bro. It's always good to do a Band-Aid. Just fucking rip that shit off. Don't talk anymore.
Oh, that's exactly what I did, and it's working really
Yeah,
good.
but sometimes that infection
Yeah, it lingers.
it lingers, dude.
That's true.
It doesn't want to just heal up.
That's
real
the thing.
quick.
For the longest time, she wasn't telling me where she was at all, and she still didn't tell me. But you know the shops at Carlsbad over there, just the mall,
Sure.
whatever. And there's a gym over there, 24-hour fitness, and she's
The
like
24-hour
the
fitness?
24-hour fitness.
Dude,
Yes.
hit her up.
Well, no. The funny thing is, like, she told me she works out from this time to this time.
Yeah.
And the problem is, I've hired lawyers, right? And we are trying to get a judge to be able to give us the right to serve her through email or through the newspaper, blah, 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 whatever.
Through the newspaper.
Yeah. Just an ad out there that's like public information.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, I never heard of that.
And if that happens, then, hey, everything's good to go. She has a certain amount of time to respond. But now that she told me she works out from this time to this time at this gym, I can now serve her.
I served in X papers. Yeah.
But you have an ex-wife?
No.
Oh.
But we were pretty close, dude. I thought I was gonna marry that chick. I served her papers to get the fuck out of my house because she was technically renting my home. And yeah.
Hey, good for you, man.
Yeah, I had my
workout.
I had my mom recorded on my phone. It was rad,
Was she
dude.
pissed?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
It's probably
served.
She got served. Yeah, that's unfortunate, dude. Did you see it coming?
Yeah.
Either-
The writing was on the wall for a very long time.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could have told you that.
Yeah,
was
I
coming,
think
like, years
everyone
ago,
told
man.
me. It was
Yeah,
one
but
of those
that's
things.
okay. So we have this dude. I don't think he watches the podcast, but I like to leave people nameless. There's this dude at my command that is very, very beta. Very just beta. Clearly. Doesn't have a spine. Gets walked over in every direction. Marines, corpsmen, anybody. And I think his wife, they only have one car. And dude, I remember, like, I like to be early so I can take a fucking nap. And I remember just like rolling up, reversing in my spot at my new job, just like rack out for about 30 minutes. I like pop up, and I want to hock a loogie, I think is why I looked. I like wanted to open my door and like spit, and I just realized it's this dude. It's really laggy, so don't try and pay attention to it. It was this dude and his wife, and they're just waiting there silently. Neither of them are like looking at their phone, and they're just waiting for the time for him to get out, her to get in the driver's seat and drive off.
Go fuck someone else.
And he met her, I think, in San Antonio at Corps School. And I think she's from right outside boot camp is where she's originally from. And she is a total dependopotamus. She is sucking the blood out of this kid. She's fat. And like, it's such a hard thing as a friend or as a person with some like outside optics, just be like, did you ever tell him? Like,
Oh yeah.
oh
Yeah,
really?
No, yeah, I for sure told him.
Yeah,
like
no,
multiple
I
times.
had
damn,
two people
dude.
tell me where it was one of those things where, well, the first thing he told me was, you know,
right,
first
listen,
thing he
guys.
told me is, hey, you need to marry her.
It was a joke. I'm engaged. Crazy women are not fun. Learn that the hard way.
No, she's super crazy. Probably
Crazy to hot scale ratio.
pretty high. Please edit that out.
Okay.
all the way at the top.
Why?
I'd imagine
I'm engaged.
Crazy to hot. Oh, well, you're okay.
Yeah, I don't want to.
because she's normal. His at a decent level. Mine isn't.
What? Really?
Yes, my fiance is normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll edit that. What'd you say last?
What was I saying?
Oh, that I warned him. Well,
A lot of people did.
Okay, yeah, I was giving him shit. I did say marry the girl, but
It was a joke. I
but
said
like,
it because it was a
was
joke.
it like, dude, just marry her, bro?
well,
You should probably just marry
do
her,
you
dude.
want to like?
The whole stuff, like the whole. You can go ahead. I don't really care.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Gabe was a virgin
Okay.
before he met his wife.
That's
And
actually like a good thing.
Yeah.
I wanted the first person I had sex with. I wanted to be pretty serious. So it was one of those
Yeah,
things where
that's
I was
like, there's some thoughts on that. And as people do this roller coaster of life, you'll usually see a trajectory of like adolescence, partying, wild males, whatever. But as you go on and get deeper, and like my brother was one of these people, very he was a ladies' man, still is a ladies' man. And he's like reading a book. He's not Christian. He's reading a book. He's like, yeah, man, I'm reading this thing about like when you share seed with someone, like it's supposed to be really, really intimate and like you're bonding souls for a moment. And then every time you just do that, like willy nilly, you're like losing this intimate connection. And it's really, it's perverted, so to speak. I was like, Chris, this has been in the Bible that we were raised in our entire lives, that it talks about this. And I have a few friends that did that, and like very strong bond. Initially, he got a divorce. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, no, initially it was really strong. I think when I got home, because everything, it was a perpetual repeating cycle. But at the end, it was one of the things where she's like, oh, divorce me. And she started sending me papers. And I was just like, I was back at home. I wasn't near her. And I think that was a thing because when I was back there, my stepdad, he fucking hated her. But he kind of like kept it not hidden. I knew, but he would like be very nice, I guess. But like he started showing me videos on like what a narcissist is, you know, and a narcissist will bring you in like before you know them. They'll be super nice and loving, and it's like a love that you've never felt before. And clearly I never felt it before either because I was also a virgin at the time. But she like sucked me in, kind of like a succubus, and then she was hot. It was pussy.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then over time it turned into not as much love, a little bit more shit, and then love would be, I think, sporadic. So it was one of those things too where after I had married her, for me it was one of those things where I'm like, damn, I married her. We have to make this work.
Yeah.
Like I said vows that meant something to me. And for a long time after we get into an argument, she'd be like, I'll change. I'll go to therapy, blah, 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 blah. And then it just never happened.
Yeah. The girl I served papers to, at times, I wouldn't say all the time, I don't know, full blown. Some people think she was manipulative. I can understand where they're coming from, but she was a smoke show, and I was willing and able, and I had no qualms with it. But when we would get into fights, it would last for like 3 days, and they would get so twisted around on what the argument was even about. And like, I couldn't express it. And then like, eventually, like from like Anchorman or something, I was like, I feel like I'm taking fucking crazy pills. Like, this is insane. And I started to like realize, I wanted to say this earlier, like love was a treat she gave me as like a little bit of like a reward for doing good, instead of, what is it? Not consensual, but, constant, whatever the fuck.
A constant love.
A
that should always
constant
be
love,
there.
which is what it should be. Instead, it was this treat, this either like conditional love, whatever, and then what?
It's unconditional.
Unconditional
love.
But it was conditional.
Yeah.
It was like I'm a touchy feely, so like the hand on the shoulder, the sex was the reward for being good. And like, fuck this, dude. Eventually I got out of it, fucking stepping back and be like, yeah, I think I got manipulated, but I did have love for her. And it's just, it was shitty, man. It's fucking, that one kind of, I've thought about this. I've even thought about this recently. That one ruined me a little bit. Kind of calloused my heart a little bit. And
Makes you crazy.
Makes you crazy. Yeah. And that's why with my wife, dude, me and my wife got married within a few months. We've been married for 5 years. And when we started having conversations about dating, I remember telling her like, hey, we're going to this party right now with friends from my last unit that are like family to me. And I'm going to introduce you as my girlfriend. She goes, oh, okay. It's like, because I think you're my girlfriend. And I've never really figured that out. As many women as I dated, like, how can you even be my girlfriend? It's always just been like, I think you're my girlfriend now. Like, yeah. And at that time, I told her, I was like, it was a few dates before that. I was like, hey, I'm talking to you and I'm giving you my full attention, and therefore I'm not talking to other women anymore. I know other women. We met on Tinder, but I'm ceasing those communications because it's eye to eye now. I hope that's the same with you. She's like, yes. And it was like such a different relationship than with this girl that was manipulative, on how clear we were on everything, that it was just like, huh, this is weird. This isn't an issue. That's not an issue. When everything else was this nitpicky, trying to get me to act a certain way. Mm-hmm. It's fucked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
God, I love my fiance.
She's a nice lady.
Just a nice lady. It was the same thing though. Like at first it was just like, oh, is this what a normal relationship is? It's tripping me out.
Yeah.
But, I got used to it eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, you get used to the norm.
And you're like, oh shit, this is dope.
Yeah.
Like unconditional love. Sick.
I definitely
Eventually, yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to make sure I'm not gaslighting my wife, because I swear to God I tell her things and then she swears I don't. I think this recent one, I might be right, but she's kind of like, I think I'm taking crazy pills, because I was like, hey, I'm doing a podcast. I'm going to the Crosses on Saturday. I'm doing a podcast after. She's like, okay. And then I swear to God, I was like, we're actually doing the podcast Friday night. And then I told her they're going to sleep over. All right. And then today she's like, so you just set up the podcast. Where are they going to sleep? I was like, well, we're doing the podcast tonight. I told you that. She's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, I did. She's like, no, you didn't. She'll call me by my last name. She'll be like, you didn't fucking say that. No, I'm not. I'm like, man, I really do think I did. But I don't want to sit there and just like gaslight her and fucking pretend. I don't know. Who knows, dude? Who knows if I said it or not? I think she thinks like I just hand out like fucking candy all day at work. I don't know. Like I don't do anything. I know she doesn't really think that, but I've had to tell her like I have a lot going on. And I'm trying to get my overseas paperwork finished. And we have a house in Texas and we need to figure out what we're doing, renting it, getting our shit out. I'm driving my guns down in a week, like doing these different things. I have to figure out what to do with my family between the 70 to 90 days waiting in Sicily while my shit is in limbo, and I don't have a car. What do I do with my 2 kids and my wife? Are they going to sit in a hotel with the minimal toys we pack over? What? I have to get all of their overseas screeners, all these different things. I have work regimen. They want me to take on collaterals, all these different things. I have the exam coming up. I had to help out prepare my map package. Fingers crossed. Not, hopes aren't high, but I haven't been studying. And I just feel like she thinks I don't do anything. And when I get home, I want to either be with the kids or like eat some food and watch some TV. And she'll come at with the, you know, she hasn't seen me all day, and she'll lay all these fucking facts and dates and things on me. And then I'm like, oh, when's that thing? She's like, I told you. I'm like, oh, fucking, maybe you did. I don't know, dude. Fuck it. She's foreign, dude. I can never understand her. She can barely speak English. Y'all heard her. She doesn't speak good English.
It's compromise, man. Let's just even it out to compromise.
Yeah, there was this like really heartfelt. I'm on Instagram now. Oh shit. And there's like this really like very studious biblical dude just like talking in front of like some tall grass, and he's like, you know, when I argue with my wife, just a couple ground rules we have. A, we love each other, so talk to each other like we love each other. I'm not about just let my wife win all the time. I want her to see my point of view, and I want to understand her point of view. And then if we can't come to an understanding, I tighten all the jars in the house. It's just like, fuck yeah, dude.
I'm telling Gabe we're going to take him down to Mexico and find him a Mexican wife.
An actual Mexican wife.
Yeah, an actual one that will like cook and clean for you and, you know, stay at home and then not contribute to rent whatsoever.
Yeah, that's basically what mine did, except got mad that she cooked. And
yeah, no, like you can hit her and it'd be completely fine.
No. I made that joke last time. It didn't hit. It didn't.
Different group of people here, you know?
I was like, so are we pro or anti domestic violence? And they're like, what? I was like, because, you know, some dude beat the shit out of his wife on an elevator and then had to make a public service announcement that hitting women is wrong. And I didn't know that until this NFL player told me that. And it's like, this is so fucking stupid that this guy, Dr. Dre, has to tell me that like hitting a woman's wrong because he did it at a party once. Like, you know, shit, motherfucker. You don't have to tell us that. That's common knowledge. You don't hit a weaker person.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. My girl would beat the shit out of me, like, easily.
Yeah. Really? Dude.
My girlfriend's pretty strong. My fiance's
Stanfield's girlfriend, I don't know if you watched the last podcast. Stanfield's girlfriend is as tall as him and a blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
Oh,
and
fuck that,
wraps
dude.
his ass up, dude.
Fuck that.
It's
terrifying.
I don't know if I could be in that relationship.
Knowing that your girl could beat your ass any second.
Knowing you're not alpha, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know. Knowing you, if she wants your little spoon, it's like, your little spoon, bitch.
Hey, man, I like being Little Spoon every now and
Hey,
then.
little spoon's fine when I consent, dude. You know? Women, bro. It needs them.
We have everything we need right here.
Oh, shit, dude.
Turn these cameras off.
I had very long conversations with Oliveira when he was in golf about, like, I grew up in the Jackass era when I was, like, on TV and shit.
Yeah.
And, like, I skateboarded and, like, Big Brother was a thing, the magazine, where all that came from. And, like, just, like, a very kind of, like, philosophical conversation of why gay is funny. Why is this dude like has a hole in his camis and he's like going up to his buddy in the field like, hey, good, and like, oh, let me suck it, like, but then it like Huck kind of goes into a realm. Apparently Huck's in like an echo chat where a lot of it is them sending photos of shits they took, when it's like to a point of like, dude, what? That's kind of gay, bro.
Yeah, it's
but
pretty gay.
There's another aspect of it of not going too far, but still like gay chicken, dude. That's hilarious. And then a dude just like has no fear, and you're like, oh, dude, this is awkward as shit, man.
Dude, I've done a lot of gay shit, but I've definitely lost gay chicken a couple times.
Yeah.
Like,
No, go ahead. I'll say something after you.
I'm gonna say Huck. I don't think I can lose gay chicken to Huck.
No.
Huck is all about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he gonna be there tomorrow?
No, he's in like fucking Canada or some shit.
What the fuck?
He's above Boston, which is New Hampshire. I think he's in New Hampshire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's
gone.
He's gone, dude. But what's cool is he doesn't live too far away from George. George lives in Boston, so they're like 4 hours away.
Oh, yeah.
I think they just went to a concert together.
That's gay.
It's gay. Yeah. It was like, I don't know, some like metal band they put on. I'm like, okay, cool. The guy on Snapchat that puts 50 videos, and you're just like, fuck, man. I don't fucking see all this shit. I just got rid of Snapchat. They wanted me to consent to terms of service. I didn't feel like reading, so I just deleted it.
Dude, I don't think I care anymore, man.
I do.
What's the point, man? It's all going to shit.
It is. I was just talking to my wife. Like, Joe Rogan bums me out sometimes, dude. I try and only watch like the comedy podcasts. And I watched the Hulk Hogan one. And then there's this dude named Dave Smith, who's a comedian, but all they talk about is politics. Like very detailed shit. And it's just, and then Mike Baker, the former CIA agent, gets on there and talks about shit. And it's like, dude, the world is ending tomorrow. Fucking hell, bro. Like, I get bummed out. Like, COVID's coming back, mask mandates coming back. Y'all don't really have to worry about that. You can just not go to a business that wants to enforce masks. But like, as a federal employee working at a hospital, I will be under scrutiny of this. And it's just bumming me out, dude. It's just bumming me hard, bro.
You gonna get the booster?
No, fuck no. I told my wife hours ago, I was like, I hope they force the mandate again and I won't get it and they'll just kick me out. And I'll sit in fucking Sigonella for 3 years not doing shit while they try and process me out and pay for my move back to the country. Because one of the dudes who was right here, his name's Pavlina, one of my boots, didn't get it, got back to the States, didn't get it, you guys are getting kicked out, processes DD-214, and like right as he was getting out, they're like, oh, no, you can stay in. Honorable discharge, got out, full base access, full commissary, 100% disabled, whatever the fuck, right? And he got a letter in the mail, possibly email from a recruiter asking him to come back. And he's just like, no, dude, I'm chill.
Yeah.
I'm good. I did my time. It's kind of like prison, man.
It really is.
I was thinking about that today. I work in a clinic with like 4 other commands. And we have, down at next to FMTB.
Oh, yeah.
And we all have our field day, right? But you know what never gets cleaned? The communal shitter, the one with the urinals and shit. There's shit in the toilets. There's piss on the floor. It never gets cleaned. I was like, I'm in a prison. I'm in like prison light, dude. I'm in a fraternity/prison, dude. Like, there's gruel at the chow hall. You can get a burger, a hot dog, and fries, but you can't get 2 fucking chicken patties. Like,
And chicken patties small too.
yeah, dude, you can't. No,
Not
sorry.
seasoned.
But dude, is that not wrong?
No.
You see a guy get a burger, fries, and probably a hot dog, and they're like, "Can I get 2 chicken cutlets?" And they're like, "No, come back." And if you have that, dude, this happened. This lady was fucking throwing attitude when we used to eat at the chow hall for free. They were always super cool. I would always get my burger patties that y'all gave me so much shit for. And I get my burger patty and I just turn around. I think I asked her, can I get 2? No, come back. Turn around. I have the same plate on my tray, usually never an issue. And she goes, you need to come back without that, without the food on your tray.
It was never a thing.
It was to her that day.
Maybe she didn't have enough cheese on her omelet.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
She was ornery. I almost apologized to her and then I talked myself out of it because I didn't like flip out, but I did like basically throw my tray like on the drink counter on the other side. I was like, dude, do I owe her an apology? I might have asked someone. They're just like, no, fuck those retards, dude. I'm like, yeah, I guess. at Bridgeport. You weren't there. Were you there?
Yep.
At Bridgeport, I'm like taking a nap between an op and the bricks. I just smell smoke. And I remember being told by the CEO, like, dude, if motherfuckers get caught smoking in a non-smoking area, it's like instant NJP to the fucking camp commandant, the fucking commanding officer of Bridgeport. Like instant. They do not fuck around. Do not get caught vaping. Do not get caught smoking unless you're in a smoking area. And like this is the th time this has happened. Like I just smell smoke coming in and I'm like trying to take a nap. I go old Marine Corps. I go outside. Dude's right outside of my open window. I was like, take that fucking cigarette and go the fucking somewhere else, you fucking bullshit. He's like, all right, man, Jesus Christ. And he's just like walking off. And some other dude chimes in, not even part of his group, just like, you can't just ask nicely? And I just like stare at him and keep walking. He's like, oh, good, keep walking. I'm like, no, just kept going, walked inside, tried to calm down, couldn't. And then Andrew Sarovi.
Oh, fucking Sarovi.
I was like, Sarovi, dude, should I feel bad about this? He's like, no, dude. I yelled at some motherfucker the other day for not having boot blouses. He got so scared when I yelled at him, he dropped his monster. I was just like, he's like, yeah, dude, fuck them all. I'm like, all right, I don't feel bad anymore.
Did you know Sarovi?
Yeah. Because what was he? He was with Cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I went mortars, and then I did a couple, like, towards the end. I went with Cat, so I was with him a couple times.
Yeah, I loved him. I loved him. Great dude. He didn't have a good reputation before I met him because they're just like, oh, this fucking moto ass dude. He's fucking too high. Granted, he did a little bit like me. He got out and came back in.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how many years he was out, but he's super squared away, fit guy, smart. And he was put in charge of Cat Blue. He picked up sergeant like first week of deployment. He's put in charge and, kind of fell back to the basics, and he made him like get in formation and like march. And like,
okay, that's pretty gay.
Yeah, it's pretty gay,
yeah.
But like he didn't know how to act, he's newly in charge again. And like the other sergeants didn't like him. And then I'm just building this character up in my head. Like he's going to be breathing fire and like giving me shit. Like, oh, you're the shitbag corpsman that lost his clearance. And like, he's like, hey doc, we're going to chow. You want to come? I'm just like, yeah, sure. And just like,
can we be friends?
Yeah, dude, super just like wants to be friendly with people, but was just a Marine, just fucking yelled at his boots and did his job and was eager for word. And I witnessed a few times they were just being dicks to him. And he's like, I'm looking for word. And like, we'll tell you when we tell you. I was like, no, y'all are being assholes. Yeah. They'll be on the podcast soon. But just a super solid guy and has a big heart and cared. One of the best things he ever did is they were at the armory and another battalion left just a ton of trash out at their. So he took all the trash, put it on their armory window, and like within it, I think he threw like an old milkshake or something and just like splattered all over the place. And some officer's like, what the fuck, man? He's like, what, sir? He's like, you just gonna fucking throw trash at our window? He's like, it's your trash. Your Marines left it that way. So figure it out, sir. I'm sorry. And yeah, nothing ever happened of it, dude. And then Solero gets yoked up for not having boot bands. I don't know where's the line, dude?
Fucking Donnie.
I never did that. Did y'all do that? No boot bands in the field thing?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah?
If they fell off, they fell off, but I always had them.
Fell off?
Yeah, the boot bands.
What are you doing for them to fall off?
Running around, sleeping, whatever.
Sleeping?
Yeah.
Yeah,
a lot of times I take my boots off,
Yeah, I've lost boot bands in the field. Where I'm just sleeping. I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah, I think I had two. Pretty much every single field op. If I lost one, it's game over,
Maybe it's just us being average height white males. Dude, I can do, and like I had this lieutenant nurse, ensign nurse, whatever the fuck, did the MESET program, was a former recon scout sniper, and got orders at FMTB. And I'm like, oh, dude, I have Nike boots that I used to get away with wearing in my Type 3s. No one ever said anything. I was like, man, the Oakleys are authorized again. I need to go buy Oakleys. He's like, why? I was like, yeah, it's not really in regs. He's like, dude, you have like PTSD from the Marine Corps. Like, relax, dude. Sure as shit. My chief now at FMTV, Chief, I fucking told you about those boots last time. You fucking fix that shit. I'll fucking fuck you up. And I'm like, dude, wow. The other day, a week ago, I walk into the building without a blouse, and my blouse is in there. And I think my cover's in the car for some reason. And I needed to walk to my car, and I was still in my blouse. As soon as I walk out of the building at a medical clinic, some dude's just like on the phone. He's like, where's your blouse? Where's your cover? Like, it's in my car. I'm like, oh, okay. Same thing when I get to 2-1. And just like, so we just walk around without a cover? I said, no, Agent 1. So, and then he has a full-blown conversation with me a year later out in the parking lot without a cover on. I'm just like, I don't know what it is about me. I always get, pushed on at the bar, and then I start the fight. But, like, I just got disrespected, Something about me is just always just like, yeah, no, hey, see that guy? Well, go fuck with him. Yeah, that guy. Okay. I don't know what it is, man.
I feel like it's the same for you, too.
Is it just...
I tried to keep, like, well-groomed everything, like, because I knew, again, probably like you, people are going to, like, say something.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, let's look neat.
I had a pretty good analogy in FMTB, and one of the guys approached me about it. He was just like, hey, like, you were talking about, like, certain dudes don't get fucked with. I'm like, yeah, that's my buddy Ryan Anderson. You see him right there? #1 PT stud here. Fucking former Bud stud. 6'4", 240 pounds. You probably never met him.
No, maybe not.
No, he was never in our realm besides FMTB. He went to BRC shortly after. Just a monster, right? I was like, you see him, you see his sleeves, they're rolled like shit. But he is 6'4", 240 pounds. Is a 5-foot flat staff sergeant going to roll up to him and decide to fucking blast him? Most likely not, because when things get broken down, it really breaks down to violence. Mm-hmm. It really, like, primordially breaks down to, like, can I physically dominate this person in my head easily? So that short little staff sergeant is going to make that quick calculation and realize that if my buddy Anderson decides to turn his back and walk away from him, that guy physically can't do anything to him. But 5'9", in his head, he probably, hey, maybe he could. Maybe this dude's a fucking ninja, right? Mm-hmm. He could fuck me up. Maybe in their head, that's what's going on. But who's the monster from fucking Fox?
What's his name?
Monster?
Yeah, big ass dude. Just
him and his 6'2" buddy that was also equally...
Yeah, no one's messing with him.
Jacked. Those two dudes that would just show up at the chow hall, and you're just like, who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is going to tell a 6'7", 5", whatever he was, person, anything? Is the Asian kid at the chow hall going to walk up to and tell him to take his sunglasses off his head? No. That dude is frightful.
Specimen.
Yeah.
Absolute specimen.
Just eating dudes in SOI, I would imagine. I don't know him. Never heard anything bad about him. I did. Sorovi was his buddy, and he's like, yeah, dude, he warms up with 45s on shoulder raises. I was like, that's not true. You're lying. And he's like, hey, what do you warm up with on shoulder raises? He's like, 45s.
Like lateral shoulder?
Yeah, that. Yeah.
It's just fine, dude.
Just all the SARMs.
I feel like that's a very common thing in the infantry, though. Like, if you can't kick my ass, you shouldn't be talking shit to me.
Yeah.
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 Pretty straightforward. And I agree with it.
I think that comes from, like, heritage, too.
It's good.
That's, like, old school shit. My brother was in 1-4 back in the day, back in 2000. And he said, as like a booty boot, if you had a disagreement with someone, his squad leaders would take you to a barracks room, you'd put on boxing gloves, and you'd figure it out. So no one really wanted to get into like public arguments. Like, man, I gotta fucking fight this dude. This is bullshit, dude. And some shit like that. Cade and whoever the fuck did that shit on deployment. There's some cool shit like that. When I got into a scuffle with one of my boots the day we were leaving because he kept like spitting fucking fruit and seeds at my feet. And I was like, hey, do that somewhere else. And I'm like, hey, motherfucker. And like then we get into it and First Sergeant writes, it's like, all right, y'all want to go? No joint manipulation, no eye gouging. I'm like, I'm down. He's like, nah. I'm like, all right. But like, there's some old school shit out there, and I think it should be that way.
First Sergeant right, man.
Dude, the man.
Sad to see him go.
Yeah. He's doing good things, though.
Yeah, he is.
He's smoking weed on the outside.
So
I would imagine.
I'd hope so.
Yeah. Why wouldn't he?
So.
You tell me, you look at that man and tell me that man's not smoking weed.
How tall is he? Like 6'4", 6'5"?
I think we're building him up a little bit in our head. I think he might be 6'1".
I think he might be 6'4".
Every time you said Jaeger, I just came, just all over the place.
He was huge.
Yeah, huge.
He was
I don't think 6'1" because you're what, 5'11"?
Yeah.
There's no way he's 2 inches taller than him.
He's wearing boots, guys.
So was he?
I was too.
I think he was pretty average.
I think you might be right, but either way, such a good dude. What a
Great guy.
Yeah, like people like that are needed throughout the entire Marine Corps.
Yeah, I think that's the Gunny Tate's, the First Sergeant writes that, like, just, I mean, Gunny Tate's not anybody of like stature, but just reputation alone, dude. In the few times I ran into him, and I even asked him on the crosses when I asked him if he'd come on the podcast. I was like, did you know I was a prior Marine? He's like, no. I was like, so you just like you're like cool with Corpsman? He's like, yeah, I love Corpsman. You guys are great. I was like, he was always like super respectful, and like not saying that he wasn't respectful to other people, but the dude's a fucking warrior, right? And so like when he speaks, people listen. He spoke at the last anniversary. Were y'all there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, hey guys, maybe I should, and he like put his hijab over his face. He's like, recognize me now? But like everybody just shuts the fuck up and just like, oh, a leader is speaking, you know? I don't know if you remember Gunny Hoteling, picked up First Sergeant, went to Fox. Mm-hmm. Another person like that, just he joined in like 05, dude, did all sorts of shit. And just like when he spoke, just like, yeah, chop. Like, let me eat this shit up. What he's saying is gold. Everybody cease actions.
Yeah.
Gunny is talking.
And it's not because like you're being forced to. It's like everyone really wants to take in what they're saying.
Right. Yeah.
It's just like crazy.
The wise man is talking.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's all indulge in his knowledge. We'll all be smarter and better fucking infantrymen. Yeah, dude. Those leaders are key. I feel like the good guys get out, man. Exhibit A.
Some piece of shit, dude.
I don't think so.
Some get out.
I used to get you drunk while we studied our your
That was super helpful. You know, dude, that was so painful for me. So painful. Let me get one of those. Let me get one of these guys.
Give me one. There you go first.
So where y'all live in Arizona?
Well, I live in the West Valley. So it's split up into two valleys, right? The East Valley and the West Valley. So Gabe is about 45 minutes away from me.
Do y'all see each other a lot?
Quite a bit.
Like every week or two.
Oh, that's pretty cool. You already know this is coming. Apologies. I didn't finish it. And meaning I didn't finish it, I didn't do anything to this besides bought you this pretty expensive gift. This will say something cool one day. But that is what it's going to be. That is a genuine bayonet.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Marine Corps emblem and USMC. Fucking authentic.
Oh my gosh, dude. Awesome.
Apparently you're supposed to get K-bars and not buy bayonets, according to the staff sergeant that usually works on them for me. But yeah, I'm putting that together for you and Sankey. I think you guys deserve it. I think you guys got fucked. And also, I don't think y'all got shit as he left. Again.
Yeah, I was hearing on the podcast you talking about that. I remember
Yeah,
I kind
you-
of just
you-
disappeared. Yeah.
You text me, and you're like, you're making me a knife? I'm like, shut up, asshole. Just pretend you don't know. Daily, I'm like, I need to get that done. And then, you know, you get done with your drive, and you're like, what happened? What?
Where am I?
Hey, my kids. And then I get back in my car, I see it. I'm like, I'm supposed to take that, get engraved. And then I haven't done it yet. Is there anything like you want on there? Do you want
Whatever
me to-
you think would be cool, you know?
Dirty Earl.
Dirty Earl, that's a pretty good one.
Dirty Earl.
It's my middle name.
Dirty Earl?
Earl.
Okay. You like your Snipes? Who made you?
Fucked me.
Who made you that gift?
That was you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did
man.
Snipes take the credit for it? I feel like
No,
okay.
no. And
They told you about it beforehand?
Yeah.
Pieces of shit,
yeah,
dude.
fucking assholes. You guys fucking suck. No, but I mean, it was a great gift, man. Shout out to you, because I would have been pretty pissed if like I would have left with nothing, especially from
Yeah.
Snipes. But like at the same time, all my boys were gone at that point. Maybe like one or two that were still there. Few.
Well,
But-
that's pretty much how it went, because like Fox was the same way, where everyone that I knew had left. And then I was with Mortars. So,
Well, it's super weird now. Like I used to have Braden down the street, a couple of Marines down the street. I met Justin on this podcast. I met him the first time. I recognized your Jeep. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing in my neighborhood? He was down the street. Mason was a few, you know, he was down in Flores or wherever the fuck. And I used to be in a command with Kung. And I used to see George and Cranitas every once in a while in a blue moon. They all showed up to my like pinning ceremony. And it's just like, dude, the only people that are left are going to the crosses tomorrow. But like everybody else is just physically not located here anymore.
Yeah.
It's Mason's in Japan. Serrano will be there. Benson's in Brinkley went to Texas. Benson's in Texas. Huck's gone. Like everyone's gone. And like I was looking for a babysitter. I usually just get like a Marine to come at around this time and go out to eat. Kids are sleeping. My wife's like, no one. I'm like, I got like nobody left. Like we're isolated. This is fucking weird. Like
It's towards the end.
It's towards the end, dude. I'm like one of the last people around. Yeah, fuck it.
It was weird driving on base, man. It was like, I feel like I'm going home, but I'm not.
Yeah, I took some acid on the outside, and I was just talking to my buddy who's doing like babysitting or whatever. I was like, dude, if I leave here for long enough, no one will ever remember me or my family.
That's like depressing.
There.
it's more life, because you
life,
leave and
man.
then no one, like, if I don't say something in the group chat or anything, I'm just,
Just not there.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I leave Covington, Louisiana, and I don't come back, I haven't been back in a while, but my dad's business closes down with our last name on it, whatever, who are you? No, I'm from here. Okay. Cool, man. Welcome to Chimes. Can I take your order? Yeah, I'll get a beer. But like, that's another thing too. Like all my buddies, like my close friends, besides like people I went to high school with, yeah, I was close with, but there's two dudes, Nick and Nathan. Nathan was like, fuck this place. I don't dig it. I did 5 years in the Army, moved back here, I don't like it. Going to Colorado, like works at weed shops and just like loves the outdoors and shit. My buddy Nick, between Los Angeles and San Diego and Louisiana, and then like he was here. He's like, I'm moving to North Carolina. Fuck it. And other than that, from my hometown, dude, I might run into like some vague faces. I'm like, oh, hey man, did you move back where you're from?
Somewhat. Yeah.
Do you know people?
I do. Yeah, I have a couple friends that I still keep in contact with, but that's about it. Like,
Yeah.
we don't really hang out. We don't really
Yeah.
do much. It's nice having Gabe, like, somewhat close by, though. Yeah, we get to go to the gym and fuck around and do dumb shit.
I wanted to do that when I was getting out of the Marine Corps. A lot of my buddies were going to Arizona. Was it Tempe?
Tempe is where ASU's at, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tempe and not Prescott. Prescott's up in the mountains, but Tempe, whatever the fuck, around there. And I had plans on like going out there, living with them. Most of those dudes were going to school, doing good things. There's a lot of, getting fucked up and drunk. But I remember telling my buddy, I was like, yeah, man, I'm going to get out. I'm going to go like move to Arizona with my buddies, be around like a good support system. He's like, why do you need that? Like, cause like, keep the demons in check. We all just did a fucking real deployment before we got out. He's like, no, man, I didn't need that shit. I'm like, no. He's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, there's nothing wrong with me, but I've bled with these people for the past 4 years, 3.5 years, whatever. They know me pretty well. So if I'm not right or I'm being a dumb shit, they're there. And I didn't wind up moving there, and I fucking kind of exactly what I was talking about. I was isolated in Louisiana with no one of like, hey, what's your baseline? Is this normal for this guy? Is he being fucking sporadic and fucking, what's the word? Fuck words. But, yeah, I don't know. I wish I did that. I wish I moved a little bit tighter with the boys and kept up.
No, yeah, it's really good because I think in the sense that, it's like a brother, Jesus, like we've technically known each other for 6 years. The first 3 years weren't always,
Yeah, I fucking hate
we weren't really close, but like obviously went through all the shit, so it changed. It's more of like a brother in general, and I feel I told him more things than I've told my family, and having him around has been really nice. We were watching Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah,
and like
you mean Barbie?
No, dude, we need
to watch Barbie though. Yeah, we're
You mean Wakanda for white women?
Okay.
Did you not see the parallels?
I haven't watched Barbie.
But okay, me neither. But someone made a joke real quick. It was an Instagram clip, and it's just like Barbie, aka Wakanda or Black Panther for white women, and then it goes to another clip, and it's like a person in a seclosed realm, and there's one male figure that can leave the realm and comes back and brings warning, but they don't heed the warning, and then winds up bringing in people that wind up invading and messing up this way of life. And like it goes back to the original black dude, and he's just like, oh fuck. What were you saying?
Well, with Oppenheimer, there was a scene in there that kind of like, I don't know, every once in a while doesn't happen often, where I just kind of get overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm right there with you, buddy.
Yeah. There was a scene, what was the scene? He was in the stadium and he was talking to everybody, and everyone was cheering. And the movie's loud as hell. Like it was just constantly loud. But he's talking, and then he's old. Like, yeah, I think so. But he's having like, kind of like not flashbacks, it's like a flash forward into people, and he's looking into the crowd, and they're all like burnt up because it's supposed to be a depiction of them getting bombed. And like, I was just sitting there kind of like crying a little bit. Mm-hmm. I wasn't saying anything, but I was like, damn, like what the fuck? What's wrong with me? Yeah. Like, why am I even crying at this? This makes no sense. But then I'm thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, I understand why I am, but.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, there's been a few instances. It's weird. My brother died before I was getting out of the Marine Corps. I had just done a combat deployment to Sang in Afghanistan. One of my buddies, Double Lamp, he was in another platoon. Good dude. Couple of dudes, one of our lieutenant, not my lieutenant, didn't get shot, but like shit happened, right? Man, forgive me, but I think 6 people died. The funeral ceremony did tear me up, but then my brother died shortly after that, and I gave his what's the speech you give at a funeral? Eulogy. I gave a eulogy. I got a little bit choked up, but then James Gandolfini died, and I'm watching a documentary about one of his guys from the show. He's like, yeah, he passed away, and I just kind of think about it. We would always check in, We check in with each other. We get a text, a phone call. And I just pretend like we're both busy. And I can't check in with him. And I just like, fuck, dude. Because throughout my 4 years in the Marine Corps, I would just check in with my brother every once in a while. And then I'm like, fuck, dude, I can't fucking. And something recently triggered something like that. It's like, dude, I think it was like a Disney movie, honestly. And like someone like, and I'm just like, fuck. Like, what the fuck is going on? But I think that's called emotion. And I felt it. And I think that's a healthy thing. And these things we watch on TV are supposed to evoke emotion. We hate the actor, even though he just played a character in Game of Thrones, and he's not really a bad the Joffrey dude's not, but he gets hate in public because we can't separate that. And there's been a few times, man, where it's like Avengers or something. I'm like, oh, dude, he's gonna fucking Tony Stark. Like, I don't know. Completely random, but it emotes something in us, some real human life in there. It touches the heartstrings and just, I wouldn't say fucks you up. I think that's like a manly way. Just like I felt something at that moment. And I think that's okay. I used to be really not like, I wouldn't just like break the fuck down, but when I was young, like I remember not going to children's church and like them speaking at regular church, me just like fucking bawling, crying, like he was touched by the Holy Spirit. I'm like looking back, and I didn't go to like a speaking in tongues, like holding snakes church, but it's like, dude, I just felt emotions. I was a little emotional kid every once in a while, fucking just feel emotions. And as I grew and killed that part of my soul, I don't feel that as much, you know, as sad as it is, it kind of happens.
You're old.
I am old.
It's okay.
In military terms, I'm old.
Oh, yeah.
On the outside, I'm fucking not even middle-aged.
No, you're old to me.
35?
Yeah, that's old.
Is it?
You're a decade older than me, man.
Yeah, that is weird when I would be at lunch with y'all and be like, man, back when I joined, back when I was in Afghanistan in 2000, I think it was 12, yeah. And someone's just like, I think it was like someone like you were just like, like what? Like, dude, I was in middle school. I'm like, oh, all right. I don't know what to say about that. Yes, that's a fact. Okay. I fucked up. I joined as an enlisted person again.
You did the same dumb shit that we all did. I mean, dumb in the sense of, you know, you'll deal with stupid shit, get fucked up, but good in the sense of like, you know, we're doing this.
Doing what?
Just hanging out with the boys.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
That's I think that's the biggest like takeaway you get from the military.
Yeah. No, for sure. That is something I made a conscious decision about. That's why I wanted to be a Navy SEAL. Of course, I wanted to be Billy Badass, right? I think we all inside of us want to do something like that. But I thought about all the Marines I was with on how we were all in sync on the way we thought. Even if we disagreed, we were still in the same boat, you know, like-minded individuals. And I thought that, and I still think this, I'm sure it's there because I know a few of those dudes, that they are like-minded individuals that are just about that life.
Yeah.
They take it to another degree where I would love to do this. I've never mustered up the money to, but like skydiving, scuba diving, shooting guns, building guns. I really enjoy building guns. And that's their shit, dude. They're the Tacoma SEALs. Like they fucking all have their cool cars and they get paid extra incentive pay. And I wanted to be in that. I wanted that camaraderie again because I didn't feel that working at a lumber company. I didn't feel that working at my dad's home building company. I didn't feel that at a coffee shop or working at the gym. You get a snippet when you get a friend, but having 15 best friends,
yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same, dude. Going to the BAS and shooting the shit for 2 hours when you're supposed to be working while Huck tries to get the computer to work, like that's different. I don't know how to recreate that in anywhere else. I don't.
The fucking Coca-Cola can, man. Coca-Cola can.
Yeah, dude. Do you know what that's about?
About the size, right?
It's about the girth,
It's
Yeah,
about the
the girth,
girth,
yeah.
dude. It doesn't fit, bro.
Shit, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I always wish we could, because that's what I would tell people. I was like, this is the podcast. This is what I'm trying to recreate. It's
The conversation in the BS.
Yeah, it's less organic here, but dude, just like trying to capture that. And I even thought about like, do you think we set up cameras? Like, no, that's not. No one's gonna be cool with. Like, what are y'all doing in there? Oh no, Chief, hold on 1 minute. Like, are those cameras and a microphone? Like, shouldn't you be studying for your pen or something? Like, oh yeah, that's right, I guess. Yeah, dude. Fuck, I had something I wanted. Oh. You went on an excursion to Alaska.
It wasn't Alaska.
Antarctica?
Yeah. It was
North Pole.
It was I crossed the Arctic Circle.
Jeez,
Yeah.
That's north, right?
Yeah. I was in Canada, my first time.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, kind of Canada.
kind of Canada. Yeah, at the very north
Isn't
edge.
that
of
international waters?
Canada. I'm not sure, man. We were like on a frozen lake, and there was like a village of people around us. It was dope.
How did that come about? Because the funny thing, I remember someone saying in the chat recently, is, hey Sanchez, what was that program? And I was just like, nah, dog. He was like hand selected for some documentary, right?
Yeah,
How did you even hear about it? Apply anything?
I didn't apply. You know my buddy, you know Whips?
I remember that name.
Yeah, so Whips got in contact with the producer through one of our friends that we played volleyball with in Kuwait.
Mm-hmm.
And Whips was the producer was trying to get Vargas on, like,
Okay.
to go to the excursion.
Yeah.
But Vargas is, like, first of all, a double amputee.
Yeah, I feel like if that's possible now, it probably wasn't possible then.
Yeah.
Like he
no.
probably wouldn't have been ready for it then.
He was still definitely recovering.
Yeah.
And then he, he had a bunch of other stuff lined up, too.
Yeah.
He was still in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, it damn near wasn't possible.
Yeah.
And I just got out, and I was like really the only one that wasn't really doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So Whips was like, hey, my buddy Lucian, the producer, is
There's this child lock.
child lock. He's like, my buddy Lucian, the producer, is trying to get you like on a show. I had like a 10-minute conversation with him. He's like, all right, let's do it. I was like, all right, cool. And yeah, I went to the Arctic, completely paid for by Disney. Thank you. And it was dope.
Where is that? Where did it get released? Like
It comes out.
it's not out yet.
No, it comes out Veterans Day, November 11th.
Yeah. It's the day after the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Okay. Sick. I thought maybe I missed it. But I remember you sending me a photo in some aspect of just like a full professional like camera interview thing. I was just like, because I have this, I'm proud of what I got, but
Yeah,
I was
that's
just
good.
like, what is that? Those are thousands of dollars
Yeah,
of cameras.
Next level stuff.
And
Like,
you're like, I'm doing this documentary. I'm like, please wear my shirt. Please wear
I think I did.
Please wear security clearance podcast shirt. Yeah, and then like you send photos of like a frozen beard, and
Dude, it was fucking cold.
did you get to keep all your gear?
Yeah.
Nice, dude. That's gonna come in handy in Arizona.
Yeah. We plan on going snowboarding.
Oh, we
and
do.
stuff.
Yeah, snowboarding in January.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I did this really cool thing. I basically did this here with my guns. Is when I moved up to Oregon, I was really adamant on bringing my snowboarding gear. So I packed out my snowboarding bag, which is my board and all my, my boots and my fucking different layers and shit. Never used it once. Went to the mountain multiple times. Never used it once. And I remember packing it back in my 4Runner to drive back to Louisiana. I was like, oh, fucking dumb bitch, dude. And with my guns, I smithed them a pretty decent amount and like really enjoy that hobby. Never shot them once. Pride myself on never shooting my gun when I was senior line of golf company. Just like big ups to that. And now I cannot take them to Italy, so I have to drive them back to Texas. Yeah. Also, my Tesla's for sale if you want to buy it.
I was actually thinking about buying a Tesla pretty soon.
I give you what I'm asking for my Tesla is $4,000 more than the most baseline you can buy, which is a Model 3 2-wheel drive, one motor. I have full self-driving, which you would inherit. Mm-hmm. It's worth $15,000. I didn't buy it for $15,000. I have the $2,000 20-inch rims. And I have all these little goodies and tinted windows and stuff, but I'm selling it for $44,000.
Are we gonna make a deal right now?
I'm not.
No. Dude, I'm in the process of buying a house.
Congratulations.
It's awful.
When yeah, dude, cosigner, I would assume.
No.
Really?
No, I have great credit.
Yeah, but do you have proof of income?
Yeah.
Up to a substantial amount?
Yeah.
Okay, good for you.
I make decent money on it at Amazon, and then I used my VA pay. I'm 100% disabled.
Okay. How was that process?
Because
you did it on the outside.
The VA?
Yeah.
So I actually submitted a BDD claim.
What is that?
It's the claim you submit before you get out.
Before 90 days.
Yeah, before 90 days.
You got that done?
I did, but they kind of fucked me. And I had to get the rest of it done on the outside, which was really
because I remember you were pretty squared away with all that.
I was talking to you a lot about everything.
And then it's still not done.
No, mine's done.
You're done?
I'm also the same as him.
But you have base access, but you don't?
I just didn't. There's been a lot, Base access is completely separate from that. That's you go to either the VA. I've contacted the VA multiple times, and they said I'm not in the system. So, but I'm still getting paid.
So if you could explain that, it's just an application to have base access?
Yeah.
Commissary?
Pretty much, yeah. You can do an application either online or you can go into the VA itself like he did before we came over here.
Okay.
I was just being proactive about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was working and going to school,
You said you were worried about them not respecting your on base to get on base?
Yeah, because apparently you're supposed to call ahead and tell them that you're going to go on base and set up the whole thing. When we went through main gate, there was this boot that scanned my ID and it came up red. And I was just like, dude, we're not going to get it in.
He just was staring at the ID what the fuck is this thing?
Yeah.
Probably never seen it before in his life.
And then he just reads through it real quick, does that little, and he lets us through. I was like, all right, sick. And then you texted me, you're like, you can't go through through fucking Horno anymore.
I thought that happened. Were you not here for the rain then?
Mm-mm.
Okay. When did you get out?
December. I left Horno in December.
Yeah. Damn, dude. That's been a while. It's 7 months almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
8, yeah.
8.
Almost
December?
9, yeah, because it's almost September, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought August was fucking the 6th month, but damn.
Yeah.
Was it, how do I phrase this correctly? 100%?
100%.
100%. How stringent was that? Because, dude, okay, I've been in the military for coming up on 10 years. And everyone's like, oh, you'll get this, you'll get that. And I'm just like, will I? I don't know, but I feel like I would. But do I have to sweeten the sauce before I get out? Do I have to set up thing after thing after thing every 2 weeks? Or
So, what I started doing very early on in my military career was going to appointments.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I wanted to build up a medical record. My neighbor was like, dude, get everything documented.
Yeah, my brother told me that. But
Yeah. So I did. I actually did.
Yeah.
And I think it helped. I don't think it helped a substantial amount, but yeah, it came out with 100%. And I went through a VFW rep. Really helped me out.
Yeah.
I'd recommend it.
Yeah, when I was out of the Marine Corps, I started with the DAV. You ever heard of them?
Mm-mm.
DAV, I think their deal is they help you get your claim. They help you get a higher claim if you already have one. They take a certain percentage for a certain amount of years. Hey, that's fine. You got me more money. Hey, take a little bit for 3 years, whatever. I started with them. And my brother told me, this is back in fucking 2014. I started with them, and my brother's like, dude, I had to send application after application after application. My first one got kicked back, and my mom's like, here, sign this. She's more on top of it than me. I was like, I think I'm going back in the military. She was just like dumbfounded. I'm having obvious issues and hospitalizations for mental wellness. And she's like, you're going back to the military? I'm like, yeah, I think I want to be a Navy SEAL. And she was just like dumbfounded. She's like, what am I doing this for? I'm like, to be completely fair, I didn't actually ask you. You just kind of took over.
Yeah.
And so I never resubmitted it. I did go down to this local VFW rep, which I am a VFW lifetime member. And that has nothing to do with anything. But this dude is famous, so to speak, for getting people their claim, for getting them, for bumping it up. He is a double amp from Iraq. And cool dude. Met with him once, told me a couple things. And I think it went along the lines of, I'm going back in. He's like, well, then don't do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And then I'm outside in the lobby. And there's this angry old man out there who alluded to basically being an old school UDT. Who knows if that's true? But I was like, oh, really? UDT, huh? I'm like, I kind of want to do something with that. I think I'm going back in. He just gets like, takes out his wallet. He gives me a 20. He's like, take this and remember, you're worth more than this. And gives me $20. I almost immediately spent that on weed. And I'd like, dude, I try and be sentimental with things like, I'm going to keep on, I'm going to keep this, I'm going to put this in a special place. And it's just fucking gone. Like I put this here because I had one for Mark Goyette, who was in my unit, and I got into a bar fight and it fell off my wrist. And so it's like, I'm gonna put this right here. It was given to me by Coffin. That was a nice thing of him. This is like a little memorial thing. But like that was in like a box somewhere. And I was like, you know what? Let me take a little bit more care. But I am the worst about sentimental things. And I wouldn't have this ring if it wasn't fucking firmly around my fat finger. It's just the way it goes, man. My apologies. But yeah, that old seal, I guess, was just like, you're worth more than this. I'm like, okay, man. Joined. I'm here. Like-minded individuals. I dig it.
The money's pretty nice, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice.
On the outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's what. So I got put in a little bit of a pickle. Not saying it's not anyone else's fault but my own. So what happens to me? I go on December, blah, blah, blah. I get a 2-week extension on my board. I fail. The new FMF coordinator is the guy sitting in the room. Cool dude. And he's like, the way I see it, you have until the end of the month, not just your dink day. I'll give you to the end of December to reboard. I was like, well, HM1, I'm going on leave, but like, I'd fucking cancel my leave to do another board. I'm like right here. I'm right there. He's like, we'll talk. Leave the room, go to the actual FMF coordinator, not the relieving one. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. He's just doing his job.
Was it that?
Yeah, he's going to be at my next command.
Yeah, he's
so
really.
Don't.
You know who I'm talking
I know
about,
exactly.
right?
Everyone knows who you're
He's
talking
gay,
about.
yeah.
He knows who he's talking about, but he's going to be at Sigonella. So
Surrounding
probably
you,
a
man.
chief. Yeah. And like one of the dudes, everyone in the room passed except me. The other two dudes passed. And I walk into the room and he's like, oh, at least you got this out of the way before Christmas and you're going to have a good holidays. And then it comes to me. I'm like, hey, HM1 Ramirez said maybe I can do this. And he's just like, oh, no. He just like hands me my fucking shit. He's like, take this to your LPO. I'm like, all right. And then I go in the office. It is just dead silent. No one I really recognize there. And I just like drop off my paperwork with and just like failed GCE. Boom, throw it on his desk and like roll out. I'm at Ramon's. And I'm going on Christmas leave for like a month. I took as much leave as I want. My strategy was if I'm not around, they can't send me some to 1-4, which they were doing at the time. And I think I text first. I was just like, hey, I don't know, the FMF coordinator that's taking over said maybe I could get like a second shot. He's like, nah, dude, you're done. I'm like, all right. And he said something like, hey, don't dump it all. Don't give up, because we could probably get you back in the program and like spun back up, whip through everything, and get you back for a second board and like get this done. It's like, you know what, HM1, I don't want to, let me get back to you on that. I'm about to start leave. I wouldn't want to say something irrational like, fuck the FMF pin, fuck Greenside, and fuck this command, fuck the Navy, and I'm out of here. And he's like, yeah, you wouldn't want to say anything irrational like that. And that was that. So I come back. I do 1 or 2 coverages here and there. And I just show up. I never check in, which was kind of beautiful. I just go to the fucking gym, go eat free lunch, and go home. Yeah. Pretty standard fucking line unit, Victor unit shit. And then I get the word, hey, come talk to me. You and Kung are going to tracks. All right. At this point, I'm getting an SP and I'm getting losing my quota. I'm getting out. I'm not going to be able to get the orders I want. I want to go to Texas. I'm out, dude. Fuck it. And I start working on my VA claim, working on my SEPs and TAPs, and then I start talking to like George. And he's like, yeah, dude, we had some dude at the PTAP, whatever the fuck program. And like, this dude's like a month out. It's way too late for him to be there. He's like, fuck it all, dude. He's like, that's a great attitude. You're not going to get a penny. You're going to fuck yourself. And I'm like, dude, I'm coming up on like getting close by the time I'm going over to tracks. And so I check into tracks. Kung's got his pin. I don't. Chief LPO. Just talking. Relax, dude. Fucking relax. Way different dude. I don't know if you ever met him.
I've heard things.
You've heard of things, but now it's none of those things. Oh. Like, he's a chief.
Hey, good job.
Yeah. He's a chief, and he's morphing into that role. It was a little bit apparent that he was a little bit of a new chief and that he was still very hands-on and fucking controlling of the situation as a senior leader, an LPO would do. And he has relinquished this and he's letting his LPO sink or swim. But I get there and he's like, what's your deal? He's like, Kung, you got a pin. What are you doing? He's like, I re-enlisted and I'm going to SOI. He's like, all right, what's your deal? I was like, I just fucking went dank, so I got a brand new SP eval. I probably can't go to Texas like I want to go to, so I'm probably rolling out. He's like, all right, man, I need you to get in PTAD, whatever the fuck it's called. I need you to start your out processing shit. DD-214s are like backed up. They can't get them to you in time, so we need to get you in there as a fail-safe. In case you change your mind, we'll work with you until then, but I need you to like enroll in that shit. I went down to the chaps. The RP was like, oh, just did it. This is what you do. Download this app, schedule an appointment, you show up to this classroom, all this shit. I'm like, okay. And then Chief is like, hey, hang tight. He's like, you want to get your pin? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right. I'm like, all right, I need to go sign up for the program. I think either someone sent me their book or they sent me a new I went down and re-enrolled. I forget what it was. And it's the LP. He's like, dude, you were so close, man. I'm like, yeah, I just need to re-sign up. Sign up, get the new book, which is wildly different. Like ORM, all that shit is not the same.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, fuck me, dude. They're doing real prac apps. They're doing real. I'm like, dude, fuck, dude. Y'all better be, y'all better pencil whip this shit. Like, I've done this work before. You really going to make me do it again? And then within days, my chief comes back up to me and goes, I found a loophole. You're still good. Can you board in 2 weeks? Just without thinking. I'm like, yes. He's like, okay. And I'm like, so what am I doing here? Am I learning the new sick call fucking protocol, the way y'all do things, which is wildly different than the way I did things? Am I going to PTAD? What am I doing? And he's like, you're going to a room and you're fucking studying FMF until you're fucking bored. I'm like, thumbs up, word. I had Mason come in. He would drill me a couple times, give it to me good. And then real saving grace is he went back to Horno and he's talking about like, oh yeah, I'm helping study for his pen. And Manriquez is like, I'm boarding for my pen. What date is he boarding? This date. He's like, I'm on that board. I'm studying with 3-1, who has this amazing FMF program where they're getting their boots certified before they go to CTM because it's taking so long to get into CTM. And so 3 days before the board, I'm like, hey, can I go study with my board members in Horno? They're like, yeah. Okay. And we did like 3 days of murder boarding. We got to know each other and know our flow, our weaknesses, and our strengths, which is, you and Mason and Edgar were the only people, like, I didn't know anybody on my board. I'd never done a murder board or like a real murder board. I didn't know how that shit goes. I'm thinking I'm getting kicked out first chapter. So now I'm going to my second one. I'm like calming them down. I'm like, look, this is chill. This is part of the head game. They kick us out. They tell us, oh, do you think you pass? And like this time I'm like, yeah, fucking pass. And they're like, all right, yeah, you're good. And so I get my pen. Well, now a significant amount of time has passed and it's getting closer to my EAS date and I'm in my 4th window for orders.
You go past 3 now?
No.
Oh.
I just didn't get selected on my 3rd. And so I'm needs of the Navy. My eval magically disappeared. And Chief's like, what are you doing, dude? Are you staying in? You getting out? I'm like, dude, Texas or bust. I'm going to fucking Texas. He's like, is that available? I'm like, no. It's not really on the docket. And he's like, you don't want to go anywhere else, dude. You could fucking pick on a map. I was like, Spain or Italy is pretty dope. Heard good things about that. I was like, yeah, dude, that shit's tight. You should check that shit out. Ask your wife. Where's your wife from? I'm like, Europe. He's like, yeah, let's see if we can make that work. And then I'm like, Chief, I'm not seeing much on here. He's like, who's that bitch? The fucking, your detailer?
Oh, yeah.
I know that motherfucker. Calls him. He's like, what's up, dog? Hey, this dude got some bad word. He's on like his 4th, 5th fucking window. He just got fucking shit squared away. He's good to go. Let's give him some fucking orders. All right, puts me on the phone. He's like, hey, man, where are you trying to go? I was like, Texas, Spain, Italy. He's like, dude, Texas is a bust, dude. It's like only instructors. You're not E5. Like, we ain't sending you there. He's like, you want to go to Sigonella, Sicily? Well, you'll send me and my family to Sigonella in Sicily. My cars and shit. He's like, yeah. Like, okay. And so at that time, I'm still waiting for orders, but it's like too late to start my PTAD. It's too late to start compiling my VA claim. I was like, all right. And they're like, hey, you might get a bonus. Oh, sick. You're not getting a bonus. You're Group B. Eat shit. I'm like, I'm just happy to be here, guys. I'm just happy to be on the team, coach. Like, truly, like, hey, I still have job security. My family sells insurance. I live in a fucking, in my opinion, a nice house in a nice neighborhood. I can't complain too much. You're going to send me over to a beautiful place. Fuck it. But yeah, it was like kind of a no-brainer in the corner I was painted into. But yeah, it'll be nice when I get there.
Are you excited?
Once I'm done with the blinding stress and anxiety of getting it all over there, then it will be cool.
What do you mean, dude? You only have to move your whole house and your family. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, and I have to explain to a 2 and a 4-year-old life, you know. I have to hope they survive a 14-hour plane ride.
Oh. Remind me not to have kids, yeah? Thank you.
Do we want to go there?
Dude, I hear it all the time. It's like all my coworkers at least tell me, they're like, don't have kids. Don't have kids.
That's not
I want to have kids.
It's
Man.
not what I was talking about.
Oh.
Nah, I'm just fucking around. I think that was the right choice.
Yeah.
I did that when I was in high school. I don't know if I ever expressed that.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. Moving on. How about the Avengers? Am I right? It's pretty cool. Where do you work?
I'm a swim instructor at basically just like for little kids.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My kids go to something like that. Yeah.
It works, I guess, It's probably better than being thrown in the pool by your parents or brother,
You could be like me and not know how to swim.
You don't know how to swim?
No, dude, I suck. I mean, I can swim enough to, like, save my life, but, like, anything past that, no.
Huh.
Yeah. So the main reason I didn't become a SEAL, at this point.
Yeah. I had it in the bag other than that, That shit was cake, bro. Yeah, we have this super new dude. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's like, people ever give you shit about, like, because I refer to myself as a bud stud. I'm like, I'm a bud stud dude. He's like, people really call you that shit? I'm like, no. People have always been respectful of me. I'll say that. I have been treated pretty well in 2-1 just because I'm the Marine that's now a corpsman. And I never got too much shit. Called me a boot one time when I was new because I was telling a story about sang in Afghanistan. Whatever. But I always got respected pretty well. And I was just like, dude, anybody that would ever give me shit would have to be a SEAL, which where are they? You don't just see them, right? And let's see you do it, bitch. Like, the fuck, man? Nut the fuck up. Roll that dice and, roll that dice on the undez rate see if you win that, see if you got what it takes to win the SEAL lottery. Maybe. I'm so lucky I'm a corpsman, dude. That's another thing. Yeah. It's like, this is a good job. It fits me well.
You know Pop?
Yeah. Oh, I talked to him. I gave him some contacts. Where's he at?
He is almost on his way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard he was like waiting.
Yeah. I think in October is when he's going to find out. Once that fiscal year.
I hope he just stays injury free.
Yeah.
That is, because this is what I was telling this kid. One dude, like one of the war babies, like the younger guys in the SEAL program, 18, bow-legged, went to the PT, the therapist. He's like, I'm bow-legged. I'm afraid of shin splints. She's like, oh, do this. We'll wake up like an hour early every morning, do his little exercises and his rotations. Was a good runner, performer, everything. Everything's going well. Passes Hell Week. An officer student pulls out too fast in the parking lot, hits him with his car, and breaks his arm.
Oh my God, dude. That's like the worst case scenario.
And then what I was explaining, I was like, dude, so I skated into phase by barely passing everything. By barely passing my 4-mile beach run. By barely passing my swims. Having a dude pace me out, one of my buddies, Figs, what's up to the homie, pacing me out. Like, no one wanted to be my swim partner because I sucked. And, like, Figs is like, I got you, dude. Let's get through this. Follow me. I know how to – you have to guide. He's like, I know how to guide. Just fucking trust me. I will get you there on time. You have to keep up. Pass my swim. Pass my O course. O course wasn't that big a deal. And pass my run. And I barely passed my run. Skin in the teeth, right? Class behind me, this dude who was my girlfriend we were talking about earlier, son's friend from high school. Yeah. She
Oh.
she was 10 years older and she had a kid when she was like 16.
Dude.
Yeah. She's hot, dude. And I'm like, yo, dude, you're here. You're in the class behind me because we're in prep together. Or he's in the same building as me. And then he's on Snapchat. I'm like, dude, what are you doing right now? He's like, oh, I'm supporting third phase is like whatever coverage. I'm like, well, what happened? He's like, oh, dude, I was like barely passing, so they rolled me. And then with all the rolls and all the injuries, a new CO gets appointed, and it's just like, if you're not fucking ready to go, you're done, and cleared everyone out of the bricks. Everyone out. Now, granted, some dudes are fucking jelly rolls that are like Swick and Seal drops that have been there for 2 years. They're just fat now. And you're like, what is this? How are, and like some dude's helping you with your camis for like $80. Like, I do inspection camis, $80. And I'm like, you're fat. Anyway, I appreciate camis. Like, get away from me. But yeah, just cleared everyone out. Just like, nope. And then like I made it to a certain point, and then I didn't make it. But like, it's just luck of the draw a little bit. There was a scout sniper that got sipe. You know what sipe is? When you aspirate water, and then it can like produce like a pink frothy foam out of your mouth. But it's like just a weird thing that kind of happens to people, like, because we're in the ocean, we're swimming, we are aspirating water, but it's a kind of a medical phenomenon. They don't exactly know why some people get sipes, some people don't. He got rolled back. One dude, now he was a nice guy. A little too nice in the fact that I don't think he had good peer reviews. And he was in jump. In SQT.
Almost done.
He is in the last course of SEAL qualification training. And he gets dropped because of his last jump. And I asked him, I was like, because he's like chugging a Four Loko on fucking Snapchat. I'm like, dude, are you in the teams? Last time I checked, you were in jump. It's like, nah, dude, I got dropped. I'm like, is it bullshit? He's like, total bullshit. I didn't get into it much, but I just feel like his character didn't gel. Because my buddy was explaining like the cadre will also get a temperature of what the class likes and like how the class is and like what, because my buddy described it is like you're always filling out these character traits and these personality and like grading your buddies, and on the first few things, I don't know how long they keep going on for, but they ask you, what Navy SEALs do you know? And I'm like, oh, I know this dude, I know that dude. And I like text my buddy, like, should I put you on here? He's like, you could. He's like, you could. And sure as shit, he knew one of my instructors. Oh. And he's like, bro, dude, all you had to do is just stick it out, dude. They liked you. I'm like, fuck. But yeah, so they will push you out. They will drop you. They will safety violate you where everybody else has their fucking goggles off after a shoot, but the firing line's still hot. And that guy got hit for a safety violation. Get 2 or 3 safety violations, you drop from the program. And my recruiter, who was Swick, said they had a dude, they did not like him, and it was sure shit. He took his goggles off. Boom, safety violation 1. Down the line, got him again. Done with the program, you're gone. Ripped his pen. And so it's just, I don't think Pop's going to have any issue. I think he's the homie.
Yeah.
I just hope he's made out of rubber bands.
Yeah.
Because that's a big
I hope
thing.
so too. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, especially for like, you did a term already.
Yeah.
Like your body's not what it used to be. Like somewhere in the middle, I think that's the perfect time.
How old is he?
He is 26.
That's the age they want. That's not the child. That's not the guy made it. Yeah, that's not the dude, and it's not the old man. It's the perfect maturity age of what they want. I think that number, something about 26, is like the number. Boom, perfect.
Yeah. Nah, he'll be fine.
I think it'd be cool. That'd be sick, dude. Yeah. There's a handful of them. There's a handful of corpsmen, Marines, whatever. But there's also a handful fucking former SEALs. There's 2 in classes behind me. Both of them made it. Yeah. No, dude, don't. It ain't like that, dude.
You shouldn't have made it.
I don't know what to say to that, but it's all good, bro. Wouldn't have these fucking kids.
Take a piss.
Whoa. YouTube's crazy, right? What's up, dude?
What's up?
I pride myself on gonna make that knife cool, dude. I swear.
I imagine you will. I've seen a lot of the stuff that you've done. It's all been pretty freaking sick.
Thanks, man. I got some pizza and bacon if you want it.
Not really hungry, to be honest. I think what we grabbed bagel bites from the mall. The bread filled me up, man.
Yeah. I don't eat that stuff anymore, but I do like usually one cheat day. I'll do like another cheat day tomorrow. I'll go get breakfast after. But how was something I noticed once I got out? Like going to the gym all the time just wasn't exactly a thing because you have to balance your life.
Oh,
And you're not just compartmentalized as like, I go to work, I go eat, I go to the gym.
I don't know. I think for me, getting out kind of helped out a little bit. But then again, I was also married while I was in. So now my schedule is I wake up, I get pre-workout, go to the gym, go to school, and then kind of have my day and then work. But with that, like the gym, I've been hitting it way harder than I ever did while I was in the military too.
Yeah.
Because one of those things, like you got people like Jesus, all my Marines, they'd always call me fatty all the time, you know, grab my stomach. That shit would piss me the fuck off, you know?
You weren't as big as me. Like, I'm not saying, look,
Oh, yeah.
like muscular wise, you were bigger than me, but like I was pretty thick up until recent.
No, but I always got shit on all the time. And my thing was, I'm like, yeah, I had fat, but I destroyed you guys and everything.
Yeah.
You know, like he'd always talk shit, and I'd be like, we'd go to the beach, and yeah, I have some fat on me, but I fucking destroyed you in volleyball.
Yeah.
Like, what's up with that, you know? I'm fat, but I can still do everything. But now that I'm, you know, out, I'm like losing the fat, and I'm looking better, and I can still destroy him. So it's one of those things where I'm trying to lose the fat. That's basically it. But it's easier now than it was while I was in the military because you have, like, I can be consistent. I know what my schedule is in the military. It's, all right, hey, we have a field op we're going to. It's only supposed to be 2 days. Oh, I got shifted to 4 days. So now I'm out there. I'm eating fucking MREs and whatever. It wasn't consistent. So it's one of those things where, and even when you came back, you're like, kind of like you were saying, like, oh, I just came home. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, no, I got to go. It's my fucking day to go. I basically go to gym almost every single day. The only time I don't go is if I'm sore.
Yeah. What kind of workouts do you do? Are you still like staying with the same? Because I saw you used to do pretty isometric type stuff.
No, it's pretty much the same. I tried like a workout with Jesus where it's more cardio based in a sense, and I can do that stuff too. But I'm trying to like increase strength. I kind of go back and forth because if I switch it around, it's good for your body too. Because I don't want to stay stagnant with whatever I'm doing.
Do you log? Do you write shit down?
It's kind of like a mental type of thing.
Yeah. Look, I haven't worked out since the PRT, which fucking excellent high, no big deal. I got sick as fuck, dude. I probably could, but I got sick as fuck after that. I don't know why. I like maxed out on my plank. I did 77 push-ups and I did like a 12:26 run. I don't know what's so fucking funny.
It's not you.
But like I felt it like, oh, I'm getting sick. And then I got sick as a dog. And then like I've been vaping, don't tell my wife, but I'm still just like not 100%. It's been like 2 weeks and it just sucks. But when I was my best, I would log. I would do the percentages and the logs, and I was this weight on this date, and I ran this, and I did this minis and all that. Have you started the veteran's journey?
What's that?
Are you in jiu-jitsu or yoga yet?
I stretch myself. I don't do any yoga, but
When's jiu-jitsu happening?
Soon.
Probably pretty soon, yeah.
Soon.
I've been thinking to do some BJJ, honestly.
Weldon, and Pavlina are both doing jiu-jitsu.
Dude, how's Weldon?
Good. I'll talk to you about offline. He's doing good though.
Good.
I think he's in a program he doesn't necessarily want to talk about. I'll wait until he addresses it on here. But he's doing a cool program that's, like, in my opinion, right up his alley. And I think he's a reservist now. I think he found a loophole where he's going to, like, pick up staff and possibly go back in. But I think what he's doing, I think he'll just stay reservist and just fucking cap gangbangers, in my opinion.
Reservist in the Marine Corps?
Marine Corps, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he needed some help. He's like, hey, you still at Horno? 2-1? I'm like, yeah, what's up? He's like, dude, I'm trying to join the reserves. Can you sponsor me on base? I need some shit signed. We just got, like, dude, I don't know if this will work. I'm not really supposed to sign this, but, like, it couldn't hurt. And he's like, good luck. And then I followed up. I was like, did that work? He's like, yeah, man, appreciate it. I'm like, I'm glad. And I think he's a reservist, and he's doing some other shit, which is, like, rad. And he's doing the vet bro life where, he's doing the jiu-jitsu, dude. He's doing the pipeline, bro. You get out, you do the pipeline. Did y'all watch Sean Ryan before Vargas went on?
I've seen clips. Yeah, I've
Same,
definitely seen clips, but I didn't watch, like, a full podcast of him.
So I think the first one I saw was the Master Sergeant from MARSOC, Cody Alfred. 6-hour podcast. I stayed up like till 2, and I'm like, I have to go to bed, and then, like, finish it on my car rides. He mentioned it, and he's like, well, I have to do the SF thing, right? I have to get out. I have to start a clothing line and start a motivational speaking program subscription, and then I have to give like CQB, like gun marksmanship courses. And what's interesting on that show, and I just told this to Huck and George, I was like, dude, is it just me, or is, like, the Sean Ryan show with all these dudes that are these, like, godlike operators, these SEAL Team 6, these SEALs, these Delta, these ultra SF dudes at the top of their game. They're on all the gear. They're on all the prescription meds. They are operating at such a high level, and then they kind of fuck their lives up a little bit. They recover and then find their way through, like, organic living and fucking meditate or religion and ayahuasca, jiu-jitsu. And I'm just like, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, like the rock star lifestyle, right? The Miley Cyrus, this wild ass bitch that's twerking and fucking talking about doing Molly and just, like, out of control, this former Disney person, this Logan Paul, this whatever. And I think this is coming for them too. But then eventually she's living out in the country, and she's out on a farm, and she's kind of hippie lifestyle, and she's enlightened. And I just see this trajectory. You see him on Joe Rogan, these celebrities like, yeah, man, I was really bad off on drugs. And then, I started a CBD company, and I do yoga 15 times a week. And it's like, it's this trajectory that I see with all these people. It's like party, 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 living the height of my life, downfall, crash, inner light, religion, enlightenment. It's just an interesting thing.
I think the thing is they just don't take care of their body. And then I think taking care of your body honestly helps you later on in life. And a lot of times it's like stretching, working out, whatever you're doing. I'm not saying like destroying yourself, but like I know with yoga, because you're like kind of like, what's the word I'm trying to say?
Longevity?
Yeah, pretty much. Like you live this party lifestyle, and it's not good for you, so that everyone does the jiu-jitsu, which you have to be flexible. I think it's all about being able to maintain that, because if you're stiff, fat, whatever, you're gonna fucking die earlier than taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like every single like thing fits that same type of category if you think about it, just like your personal health in that sense.
Yeah. Well, as I aspire to try and be like him, the Joe Rogans, who has $130 million, something like that. Basically a billionaire. I think you get to that level so long as you're not buying $200 million yachts and houses, you can afford anything you want within reason, right? And he constantly just talks about like murdering himself in the gym and giving him arduous tasks. He does the ice bath every morning, and people constantly ask him like, oh, dude, how are you dealing with being the most famous person in the world or like the most dominant media figure in the world? And he's like, it's weird. I don't deserve this, but he's like, I don't want a hard life. Having blinding debt and stress is bad, but I don't have that anymore. But what I do is I put myself through hard things, because basically what he's saying is like, I think it's a Gandhi saying, like, life is suffering. The moment you're not suffering, the moment you're chilling all the time, you're not enjoying it you're not enjoying the up and the down. You're just an even keel, and you're actually kind of just pivoting downward. For example, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I was smoking. I was pretty low key. I wasn't like partying, but I was smoking weed. I had a different girlfriend who was rad, and I was eating like pizza and cookies and getting high as hell, watching movies and like banging every night. And that's awesome. But after months, and I am working out, but not enough to like sustain my diet. I'm waking up with heartburn because I ate 3,000 calories while stoned, passed out with like a joint in my hand, right? And like eventually that well of happiness dries up, and it's boring. You can't Netflix and chill for the rest of your life. You get tired of Netflix. I'm tired of scrolling on Instagram. I'm tired. I can't find anything to watch on YouTube. And I find something with gunsmithing, it's like I have a lot of AKs. ARs are real simple. American made, easy to figure out. Everything is made for everything. Everybody's thought about it. It's Legos. The AK is, where's the origin of the gun? Who makes a special adapter? Is the special adapter need to be adapted to a new adapter, and this and that, and all these, is the threads are backwards on the AK, and this is that, and they quit making that, but you can find them over here. And it's this interesting puzzle. And my wife gets a little frustrated about it. She's like, can you buy an air purifier? Buy a good one, because when I buy something, you don't like it. And I go into a zoned out rabbit hole of research on a non-China made, whatever the fuck, real true chemical grade HEPA filter that's in my kid's room right now. She cooks soup. And she goes, I need a bigger pot. I go, all right, well, and she likes to go to some store or whatever. I'm like, no, this is cheap Chinese bullshit. I don't want Chinese steel. Like, what fucking chemicals are in that? And so I go down on this deep rabbit hole of trying to find American steel-made pots and pans, and it's hard. And I just lose myself in that. But I'm also thankful for that, because it gives me a difficult task. My fucking truck I blew my engine on, which I still love, and I'm keeping around. I'm getting the engine swapped. But I've done these things to it. I've figured out this and that, and it's not the most popular engine. People don't like the 3.0 as much, so there's not as many there's not as many headers. And so I'm doing research on this. I'm going back between the Thorley and the LC Engineering, and I find when I make that knee-jerk reaction, just fucking and buy it, I get a shit product and I'm not happy with it. Another thing with like these gifts, it's something like Serrano's helmet. I'm texting them like 2 days before I'm supposed to give it to him. I'm like, guys, this is my idea. This is a mock-up, but like, dude, should I really do this? I'm not most confident in what I'm doing, and it's gonna be a pain in the ass. And they're like, fuck it, dude, that's sick. If you can do it, you should. Go for it. And I sat right there working on that fucking thing for hours, and it's all taped up with blue paint and cut out little stencils. And like, you don't know if it's really going to work out until you pull all that fucking blue tape off. And it's like, it's rewarding. And I think you need that not necessarily, again, Joe Rogan, like blinding debt and fucking suffering relationships and these different things. No, that's bad. But like these difficult tasks that give you a reward, whether it's just for yourself or for someone else or whatever, putting sod in my backyard so my kids can fucking play. It's this difficult task that gives you a reward. And I think it's that over and over and over in life. And so long as everything else is taken care of, so to speak, so long as you can afford your groceries and your gasoline and your cars and your house, I think it's just about like suffering in a way, in a controlled way that has it not just to suffer, but has an outcome that brings joy. Am I ranting or like?
No, that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Yeah. To people like us, though, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people.
Well, I'm old, right?
Yeah.
So your stage of life is not my stage of life. I don't party, bro.
Yeah.
I was at the hospital and people are like, dude, you should come to I got an apartment, you should come hang out. How come you never hang out with the boys? And it's like, yeah, I got a pregnant wife at home, man. Like, what the fuck you want me to do? You know, just later, bitch. I'm fucking going to hang out with this 19-year-old at his apartment the Navy lets him rent, I guess. Like, no, bro. And then, like, they got the memo, like, no, you don't need to invite me. And, like, at first they were like, oh, sorry we didn't invite you. Like, I'm not interested. And so when you're buying the house or you're buying a house, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I was 25. I was working at a lumber company. I was a lumber sales rep, but I was working on the cash register. Someone came in, home builder. He's like, hey, who are you? Oh, you look like blah, blah, blah. I always look like someone. I'm like, okay. I'm wearing like a grid fleece. I have an orange hat and like a beard. How old are you? I'm like 25. He's like, almost. I'm like, almost what, dude? He's like, you're almost to the age where you're thinking about buying a house, where you're thinking about long-term goals, where you're thinking about your future and setting things up. I'm like, nah, no, I'm not. The fuck? Why do I want a house? That's just baggage. And he's like, one day. And then a few years later, I bought a house. I'm thinking about investing my money. I'm thinking about what I'm doing. I'm thinking about not buying clothes all the time that I did in the Marine Corps and they just disappeared. Like, the fuck? Like, having 2 times a month that I go and then like all my money's gone. Like, what the fuck? And so as you start to progress, granted, you don't have the exact same responsibilities as me. You have another person that is a capable human being that you live with. But I have 2 incapable human beings in the room over there. Oh, shit. My camera went out. Cut to that camera. I got different shit I got to do, right? You don't have to do that shit because it wouldn't make sense. Whose kid are you taking care of, right? So at a different stage in life, you think differently. I'm still in the military, so I can't do the things you're doing. I can't go on an adventure. I can't go to a certain shop in California and buy things. I don't have the freedom. So you have a different way of thinking. You have a different way of thinking. You have a different ability. I have to report in for a fucking drug test every once in a while randomly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a different journey. And so once you are free from the shackles of the federal government, hey, we're back. You get to think differently. And that's where the veteran bro comes from. That's where the hippie veteran bro comes from. That's where the fucking I used to not give a shit about politics when I was in the Marine Corps. And I got out. My brother's like, you'll get there. I'm like, nah, dude, truly don't give a shit. I really don't give a fuck. I think with social media, we're all kind of forced into it more. But now I actually do pay attention and I do have a political opinion and people are morons. but you start to think about things instead of just receiving orders. And that's just the way it goes. I don't necessarily have a choice. Ultimately, yes, I have a choice. I could pack up this house quietly on a 96 and I could drive some fucking where. I couldn't go to my home of record and I could fucking abandon this. Yes, I could make that choice, but the oath I signed, the thing I agreed to, I'm under shackles. So we get to different phases of our life, and that's why I think like the Miley Cyrus, the party girl, to the fucking living out in the trees, and then the fucking DJ Shipley, SEAL Team Ultimate DevGru operator. You know, they have these trajectories, and then he doesn't take care of his body. He's just one direction. He is obviously on steroids. He talks about the medications he was on. He rips out both of his fucking arms, like his shoulders, on a fucking gnarly ass fucking op. He fucking, he like breaks his hip and doesn't take care of his wound from his surgery and gets a bad infection. It's like you're saying, you're not taking care of your body. And once you start to tune into that, you start to think about what you require. What is your goal? This dude, all he cared about is the mission, his Spartan brothers on the side of him, and being the absolute best. He talks about it in this interview. He's like, I was obsessed. Things could not get in my way. My children could not get in my way because then I'm a weaker operator. It's like, that's gnarly. That's good. But then you also have to think about, like, that's not who I want to be. And like this Navy SEAL thing pops in my head every once in a while. Like, yeah, I can turn it around. I can be the oldest enlisted person to go through buds. I'm like, no, dude, those kids are cool, man. I sure would hope to be around for them. Not for my sake, almost. Because, like, again, I think, like, my soul is damaged in a aspect. Just the wear and tear, but for their aspect. Because that would be good for them. And I don't know, dude. Ramble, perspective. And you grow up, dude. You don't give a shit. Huck likes to party and fight and fucking the gas lamp. I don't really give a fuck about that, man.
God, he is way too old to be doing that shit. Him and Edgar.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Well, luckily Edgar is isolated and then Huck is separated.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, dude, they would tell me that shit on the way to the chow hall. I'm just like, yo, like, y'all are retarded. This is dumb. I am almost embarrassed to, like, for you to be telling me the story of how your friend assaulted a fat guy. Did you hear that story?
Get it together.
Yeah.
You guys are old. Go buy a house.
Yeah. Yeah. Be like me.
Yeah, be like me.
Well, that's another thing. It's like, I like yoga. Have I done it? And since I've been greenside, no. But it was a part of my life for a while, and it was something I was very preachy about. And I think it's great, dude. I think yoga is awesome. My brother's like a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm like, dude, you got to try yoga. You got it, dude. And he's like, dude, you got to do jiu-jitsu. I'm like, yeah. Do this yoga thing first. He's like, yeah. Do this jiu-jitsu thing first. He doesn't give a fuck. What he's doing works for him. He's got his priorities set. He's very well along. And it's like, look, dude, it ain't broken.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it in a certain aspect. You don't need to do a life overhaul. But like you I hate to use the term. You start waking up to certain things.
You're woke.
I looked up
You're
that
a woke
definition
man.
Today, dude. I looked up woke and a couple other terms, dude. They got to Webster's dictionary, dude. They got to him, man.
This man's woke over here.
Are
the
you?
wokest man I've ever met.
How's that?
You should see the stuff he sends me on TikTok. It's pretty fabulous.
I don't think it's a woke thing. I think certain things are funny.
Straight conspiracy theorist.
Oh, are you? Oh, dude, that's another thing.
I'm not like far down the rabbit hole. There's certain things.
Let's go over some, because this is an interesting thing. The term conspiracy theory is actually a very like derogatory term. Conspiracy just means to conspire, to plan. And a theory is the theory of people planning. That's it. Oh, are you a conspiracy theorist? It's like, well, that's a pretty loose fucking term there, guy, but I know what you're trying to say. But what are the frogs turning gay? Like, what's up?
Okay, that's real, first of all.
I think that is real.
that 100% is real.
But that's like
I'm trying to think what I've even sent you. My thing, if I'm a conspiracy theorist, it'd be more the fact of like Hollywood and the elite, and
I think that's turning out to be pretty true. Was it The Sound of Freedom?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Sound of Freedom, and then Mel Gibson's documentary that they're trying to shut down. Have y'all heard about that?
Mm-hmm.
No?
I thought that was The Sound of Freedom.
That's not a documentary.
Well, yeah, but I thought they were trying to shut down that movie too.
They are. They're calling it. They're just like saying outlandish shit about it. Just like out of like why? I haven't seen it, but it's a very touching movie about someone entrapped into human trafficking, and the father, I think, is trying, or maybe he's like a detective or something.
I think he's a detective. He's a father of a kid or something.
I don't know the exact story, but I think it's like a mother loses her child. They're trying to get the child back. The child's in sex trafficking, a child, and it's like this all wrapped up. He's hired. He's on the case, and it's like this whole thing. It's an independent movie, and like one of the things is they reported that one of the it was a crowdfunded thing, and they said one of the people that financed the movie has been convicted of human trafficking. And it was a landlord that owns a multi-room complex, is the landlord of someone that is in a custody battle. And this person was said to be in the wrong by having their kid with them at a certain time. And they're trying to claim kidnapping or something. Because he's the owner of the building, they said that a funder of the movie has been involved in human trafficking. Yeah.
The media.
Well, I was gonna say, even when we were driving over here, who's the singer? You know what I'm talking about. Chris Cornell.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Cornell, Anthony Bourdain. The whole, as soon as they decide that they want to kind of go against this elite people that they say are trafficking, like the pedophiles that are trafficking kids, they end up somehow committing suicide because they had a terrible life or something. It's stuff like that where it's like, I think that's more of the conspiracy theory. Unless there's something else that I don't remember, but that's more of...
No, yeah.
The pedophilic elite.
Yeah.
I think that's real. It makes sense.
Well, it's just weird how all these very high people that have a lot of money who say, hey, I'm never going to kill myself, blah, 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 and then...
Well... I heard Eddie Bravo fucking spout. Dude, the guy was up there with Alex Jones on just like his manic ranting. And Joe Rogan was like, hey man, hold on real quick. Anthony Bourdain was a great friend of mine. Please do not disrespect him by saying he was suicided. He's like, my apologies. I'll walk that back. Anyway, but he was trying to make that comparison about Chris Cornell and Anthony Bourdain. I don't know anything about that. What I will say about that, and then I'll double back to what I was going to say. These people, Anthony Bourdain dealt with addiction. I think Chris Cornell did too. Was he, what band was he?
Korn?
No.
No?
No, Audio Slave.
Audio Slave.
Audio
Why am I
Slave.
thinking Korn?
Yeah,
And,
not even close.
I don't know.
yeah, that dude, just looking at him, I'm pretty sure he had a history of being a rock star, partying.
Well, that's the thing with that. There's always these people that have this lifestyle that end up doing that, you know?
Okay.
That's the conspiracy theorist in it, you know?
This is what I want to not equate, but make my point. These people have lived such a high peak, right? Kind of like we were talking about earlier. Miley Cyrus, these ultimate godlike operators have lived so high. How long can they stay up here on this high? And then things that aren't that high, is this a lesser, mundane, sluggish part of life to them, the way it may seem? I think it's called depression. It's you're not as happy because you're not jumping out of a plane at that moment. You're not feeling that adrenaline. You're not having the time of your life every time you go do something. You're folding laundry. You're taking kids to school. So I think with those people, Anthony Bourdain struggled with addiction. He struggled with heroin. And then, so he has an addictive personality, and he got addicted to jujitsu. And I think he was also plagued with depression. And I would surmise that it wound up getting to him. His life, I don't think he had kids. I think he had a few divorces. I think that gets to a person, and you get to a point of weakness, and you succumb to that weakness, and it's very sad. I have no idea about Chris Cornell. I've never really heard anything about Bourdain saying anything about the pedophilic elite. Did he?
Mm-hmm.
When?
Before he died.
Before he died.
Yeah, right.
It's usually right before they die is when they start.
Okay. Who was the young dude? He was on, what was that women's show? It was like The View or something with like Oprah and shit. This dude, like Corey something.
Feldman.
Is that him? Corey
yeah, the
Feldman?
guy who plays in Stand By Me.
I guess. I don't know. But he
The
went.
Goonies, yeah.
Yeah. He went on one of those, and he was just talking about, like, as a childhood actor, he was molested by all these people in the Hollywood scene. And they're like, it's like pretty. I kind of understand what they were saying, but like the way it came off, and she's like, you are doing so much. What are you saying right now? You're damaging this industry. Like, it's his fault. He's being outspoken, but he's speaking in broad terms that it's widespread. And they're trying to say it's in few words, but they're trying to express, like, this is an isolated incident. You're damning everybody in this industry. It's not like that. Back to my original point, why I think this is true. $130 million, I could only dream. But again, you're living at that height of Dan Blazarian. You go to the most gorgeous islands on the coolest boats, and you have all the fucking cars, and you have $150 million mansion up in Vegas and LA, and you're always partying and in orgies and coked up, and anything you want is yours. That sugar doesn't taste as sweet as you taste it that long, right? So that high elatedness isn't as exciting. One girl just being a bombshell for most of us is enough. Well, you have that over and over and over again, and then you have two girls, and then you're doing orgies, and you're doing these crazy fucking things. Well, then that's boring. And then you try this, you try that, you try this. What is the most, where I got this from was like this fictional book about vampires. It's this dude that's like 300 years old, and he's rich. He's like some head of some corporation. He's got all the money literally like all the money in the world. And he likes to eat rats. And it's this delicacy. It's very like shameful. And I think that's a little bit in the Japanese culture as well. It's like they like to indulge in the faux pas, into like the shaming, into like these weird perverted things, the bukkake. And it would make sense as all these people an hour away in $150 million mansions that have tasted the riches of life for so long want to try the forbidden fruits, want to have what they are not supposed to have, whether it's control or power, whether it's sexual endeavors, whether it's drugs. And that's why I think like this ultimate power that's shared through the politics and the ultra elite and the billionaires, I think there's perversion in there, because $1 billion, dude, something like you have to spend like $400,000 a day for 30 years to spend $1 billion. I don't even think that's right. I think it's more than that. $400,000 a day. What the fuck do you do with 400,000? You buy a house every day for 30 years or 60 years or something like that to spend $1 billion. What does that buy you? And I watched this other little pretty short documentary on, have y'all heard like the price cap of happiness? It used to be like $75,000.
No.
So they say that, and I think with inflation it's gone up, but they were saying for a little while that if you can hold a household income of $75,000, you will reach a certain percentage of happiness. And as that money goes up, the increase of happiness doesn't equate to how much more money you have. And so he talks about like, all right, so $80,000, you can pretty much pay for everything the rest of your life. You can go on Disney vacations in a normal sense twice a year. You can probably afford your cars, the way you want to eat, your gym membership, your kid's private school, all these things. And that provides your basics and that makes you happy. After that, it's your second home, your third home, you're trying to rise the ranks. You become a workaholic. And it's like, then you're a millionaire. And then your money becomes burdensome because people want something from you. You are known to be the millionaire in your neighborhood. And people look at you different. You're treated different. People talk differently around you. And then you get into the ultra elite where you are rich enough to be invited to parties where you're not the richest person and you don't want to go because you're embarrassed compared to the class and excellence of other people that are ultra beyond, up into the billions, the 100 millions. You can't necessarily compete with them, so you feel inferior. And then you are the ultra elite and you invite people around you that have less money than you in order to feel superior to them because you're the richest person at this gala. And then you become a billionaire. And then you are influencing nations and politics. You want a law changed for Tesla. You're calling senators. You're sitting down. And then you're an ultra billionaire. You have the president's phone number. You require his time, or he requires a meeting with you in order to ask you for money. You're influencing government in different countries in order to get tariffs signed or whatever legal jargon so you can export things for less taxes and have a bigger price gap on your exportation for minerals, and you're influencing governments. But you have no friends. Everyone knows who Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, these people are at a surface level. And then if you're around these people, like, the fuck does Elon Musk live? I'm sure Jeffrey Bezos' every single home is an absolute fortress, right? So the common person he doesn't get to interact with. So he's completely isolated. And so it goes into this, like, how much money's right? Where's the right thing? Do you want to be Joe Rogan, where you can't walk around in America without security guards because people are crazy, but you have 130 million? Or are you Elon Musk, where like everything, $130 billion? Like what do you do with that? You know, you could solve many problems around the world in America with your money, and you wouldn't even run out of money. So it's this crazy conundrum on like the height of happiness and the spice of life, how much you taste it, how much you think, what's that ultra rich family throughout time, the Rothschilds? You think they get DUIs?
No. They're like chiefs, bro. They don't get anything.
You know what I'm saying? You think the regular law applies to them?
No,
You think if
not
they
at
got
all,
caught shoplifting, getting a little kick, and they got arrested, you think that would ever go anywhere? If they throw a team of lawyers at a fucking podunk little town that's going to hem them up for years over a fucking petty theft, and they're just like, you know what, we'll just drop it. Like, thank you. The judge apologizes to you to waste your time. Like, that's the amount of money. You know, that shit's bananas. And so in that, I think the realm of possibility for anything to happen as far as human trafficking, as far as like cartel activity, as far as like espionage, or people get greedy as fuck, dude. There's no reason to be. Look, let me walk that back. I think sanely, there is no reason after you've made a certain amount of money, and it's hard to determine, why you need to have another another year with a 1% increase at Ford. Why do you, hey, we sell enough cars, everybody's employed, we didn't have to lay anybody off. Shouldn't that be enough? No, dude, we need to raise that shit up a little bit more. We need to beat next year. Who was the billionaire that died in the submarine, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Cardi B was like, you're the stepson. I hate how she talks, but you're the stepson of this dude, and you go on Blink 182 concert after that. Shame on you. You should be so fucking like, oh yeah, the stepson of a billionaire. Billionaires are really known to be good fathers, right? Just broad statement. I'm sure some can be, but it's like, I don't think that dude's known for being father of the year. I think he's known for being a murderous businessman that takes absolutely no shit. That's what he's known for, not his stepson. I bet you a lot of tears were really shed. Yeah, this dude banged my hot mom. All right, I'm going to see Blink 182. I've had these tickets for months.
If anything, he's probably excited that his stepdad died.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, getting money.
Yeah, his mom's
getting some money.
His mom has all the money.
Yeah.
So what does he
Well,
get?
he probably has some will in there that she's not getting the money. He was just fucking her. So
The fuck you will that doesn't allow anybody to enjoy anything after he dies. I'm going to write that into my will. That was a lot. Sorry.
It's all good, man.
Yeah. Man, I'm just trying to live life, dude. I want to make enough money, you know? I want to be Joe Rogan's.
I feel like that's a little much, because I like completely agree with Joe Rogan is probably one of the most influential voices in media.
Mm-hmm. No, that's factually he is the number one.
Factually,
Get it right.
factually.
No,
My
I
bad,
mean,
guys.
I'm not. No, but I'm just saying, like, statistically speaking, yes.
Yeah, that's a little much.
20 million people, something crazy like that. 200 million, I don't know. Spotify, YouTube, yeah,
Number one on everything.
yeah,
A little much.
yeah. You can't go anywhere.
Yeah, no. I want to be like Steve-O rich. You know?
Steve-O, I don't want to staple my balls.
I'm rich, I don't want to be like Steve-O.
You know what's funny? I don't know if he was on Spotify yet. I think he maybe was. There's some dude, some kind of random bro. He was liberal. Not even a bro. He's like bald dude with glasses. He's like liberal, and he was on some like, he was on like Sirius or something, right? And he's like, yeah, you know, I got off of it. They're too controlling, and I started my own YouTube channel. He's like, that's cool. And he seemed to have an interesting enough conversation. And so I go to his YouTube channel. I subscribe. He has like 100,000, which is nothing to scoff at. I'd be super thankful to have 100,000 people watch this. I freaked out when Morphin and what's his name got to like 3,500. I'm like trying to sleep. I'm like, it just keeps going up. I'm freaking out, dude. But I go to his channel and like try watching a few of his videos, and I just did not agree with him. I didn't agree with the way he spoke, his like kind of bitchy attitude. I didn't agree with his viewpoints. Hey, that's fine. But I don't think a lot of people did, because he went on Joe Rogan, the biggest podcast in the world, and his numbers, I'm expecting this dude to like skyrocket. I'm subscribing within like an hour of it coming out. Back, I think, when they were like live or whatever. And dude, I don't think people dug his shit, dude. And he just stayed where he was, and he was just another guest. And all right, man, you're in the 2,000 something guest, I guess. Yeah,
The liberals. That's why.
Yeah. We need a license to drive a car, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good thing?
Yeah.
But in most states, you can just go buy a gun, right?
That is true.
Now, according to the NRA, Colin Noir, a few other gun rights advocates, any movement of the line is too much leeway. That's their stance. If we let any interpretation of the Second Amendment come down to any stricter guidances, that is too much. I understand that sentiment, but I also don't think it would be a terrible thing for in order for you to buy a gun, you go to basically a DMV, which is a joke, and get a treat, never keep 15-minute class, and then you take a fucking 20-question quiz on a picture, and it's like, he's pointing like this. Is this correct? And it's like at a kid, and like, no, he's pointing like this, and it's at like a very clear target, and it's like, yes. But if you talk to any of those guys, it's like unacceptable. No, it should be the freedom of arms. We have this for militia. If you're 18, you should be able to buy whatever the fuck you want. I'm like, yeah, but goddamn, was I dumb when I was 18?
Yeah. I don't necessarily think I'm very political.
Yeah.
So like I don't like when I say liberals.
Where do you stand on abortion?
Oh, okay. But like it goes both ways, right? Like too far left, crazy. Mm-hmm. Too far right, crazy. Yeah. I think most people are genuinely in the middle.
Yes.
Most people.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we can like come to baseline, but it's just fucking media, bro.
Yeah.
God damn.
Look, man, like traditionally I'm a Republican, right? It might be a shock. But really I'm a libertarian.
Yeah.
Really, I think we should be able to snort, shoot, drive, whatever the fuck you want, with the one agreement that you do not affect other people around you. Once it affects other people, that's when we have to have mitigation in the law and those certain things. But why the fuck can I not put anything in my body I want to put in my body? You're telling me you as the government have control over my body.
Yeah. Oh.
Right? I can't smoke meth. Do I think that's a good thing? No. But as a fully formed adult with a fully formed brain as an adult, if that's my decision, I should be able to do that. If I want to take steroids, if I want to get my face tattooed, I can, right? Now, I'm in the military. I have to follow certain guidelines. If I want to work for Amazon, I don't know their face tattoo policy.
I'm pretty sure I can get one.
But, you know what I'm saying? As a libertarian, I think you should be able to do what you want, so long as it doesn't affect other people. Donald Trump's not my Lord Savior Jesus Christ. There are those people.
Yeah.
That is weird. And that's where it's like, he's a narcissist, right? Like, no, dude, he's so calculated, everything. And it's like, perfect. No, dude, he's like feeding on the hate. It's like something weird going on. He's some sort of like energy troll. Like he's eating the negative mass and he's growing stronger. But I think it's pretty clear, dude, I don't know. I see him on the internet, I guess, on people that like, yeah, Joe Biden. Two dudes were on Tim Dillon. Two like young guys were like, Joe Biden's the best.
No way.
And it's, look, dude, you can make arguments on why Trump is not the best.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's a reasonable argument. I'm not saying he is the best. I don't think he's Hitler. I don't think Joe Biden's doing anything good. I have personal issues with him from something that happened tomorrow, 2 years ago. You know, like,
No one cares about that.
It's just fucking. It's pretty clear that the pharmaceutical industry influences the media and other multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar industries that advertise on those channels also influence the media. And we are being lied to almost about everything.
I can agree with that.
You can go back in your history book and read about a prominent figure from high school. And if you really do some historical research, it probably wasn't what that history book said. We can go back to diet established back whenever the fuck diets were established by the government and see how it has changed throughout the world, throughout time, and realize that we are being lied to. We are not getting the truth on almost anything. And I found it an interesting thing. We had this dude named Hobbs. He was on the podcast, like one of the first podcasts. He's a storyteller. Love the kid. He loves to tell a good story, and I'm all about that, so long as you know you're telling a story, Hobbs. But I think I brought this up in certain aspects. I was like, yeah, everything's a lie, bro. Just trying to basically playing the devil's advocate. I'm like, tell me something. And he talked about the chicken that lived for a week with its head chopped off. I was like, I don't think that's true. He's like, it is true. See, found it. I'm like, okay, click on that article. It was a science experiment that they cut the chicken's head off, connected it to a feeding and hydration tube, and kept it alive for a week. That's not the full truth. That story folklore kind of is like, yeah, fucking took a butcher knife, chopped it off, and it ran around for a week. No, that's not what it was. So almost everything, as you look into it, is just a fucking lie. It sucks, man.
It's depressing, dude.
It's so depressing.
Are you worried for like your kids?
No. And the reason is I do have somewhat of a loose plan. Whether it's being in Louisiana or Texas, where we have a house, but I have family from Louisiana. How long my family will be there, how long will my mother be alive, I don't know. But roots are going to grow in either place, if not both simultaneously. I will go broke before my kids go to public school. I will not have the general education system influence my children with garbage. That's almost what, dude, tell me something you learned in high school. Right? You probably learned it all in middle school. You probably learned how to write and read and how to do certain things and study probably up until 8th grade. And then it was this public school?
Yeah.
Public school?
Mm-hmm.
Was it just kind of a fucking frat house in the hallways after that? Like,
yeah, man, I got fucked up a lot in high school. Yeah.
And I'm not saying everybody does that, but that's pretty common, man. I got this new boot. He's like, yeah, there was actually this one class. I went to school in Vegas, and they taught you how to, like, balance a checkbook and, like, what a loan is and this and that, and how to change a tire. It's, like, called life skills or something. It's like, oh, that's great, dude. That's good. That's actually, like, a beacon of hope. But I'm not... This might sound shitty, but I will have influence on my children's school in the aspect of I'm a paying customer and you will not teach that garbage. If I can't influence that further than that, we're out, dude. Go down the street to another school. Figure it out. I'm not going to homeschool. I was homeschooled. That was a little weird. I didn't dig it.
That explains a lot.
Dude, it's hard to talk to girls, man, when you don't know what the fuck is going on. You're fucking nervous, dude. You start being around budding women when I'm fucking a budding young male. I'm just like, oh, shit. I've never interacted with girls before. It's fucking awesome, dude. But, yeah, I wish I could, but I think it fucks them up too much, the homeschooling. But I'll go broke, dude. I'll take out loans. I'll do whatever. I'll get those kids through. I don't think they need to go to college. I think the military is a good thing. It teaches you a lot of life lessons, teach you how to grow up pretty quick, how to be dependent. If you embrace the right things, you can be a total slob by the time you get out. We discharge fat asses all the time. They're pretty good about kicking them out of tracks, dude. It's like, you're done, bro. You see them, too. They're like busting out of their camis. And it's like, oh, that's unfortunate. I do actually feel bad for you, but you could also fix this and stay in the military, but whatever. Yeah, and then I think me and my wife are good. I think we've made it this far. I think we'll make it the whole way. She talks about, like, you think we're going to have to worry about them, like, doing drugs and stuff? No, because what happened with me is my parents quit paying attention. I think that's mostly how kids are able to do drugs, when their parents aren't keeping a close eye on their adolescent children. Yay, nay?
Yeah.
Unless you're just the parent that's like, no, I'm cool with him getting high. I'm not going to be one of those parents. And so there's a lady who went to my church, had like 8 kids. They all went to public school. All their kids were, I wouldn't say straight A students, but down the line, good, solid head on their shoulders. Went to college, did good things, and she was very involved in the public school system on all the boards and everything. Paid very close attention to her kids. Her kids didn't have drug issues. I'm the last of 6 kids, dude. My parents were just like, not like they didn't give up, but I gave them a run for their money and fought so hard. And then also I got like a job I could drink at. I worked at a bar. So like, but they weren't paying attention, dude. My dad liked working. My mom, grew out of touch with her. She quit checking up on me at a certain time. But I'm going to pay attention to my kids, man. At least I hope I can. Be involved in their life. Be their friend. Not their buddy, but like be their friend. Be able for them to confide in me and tell me what's going on. My brother-in-law, my sister have a policy with their kids that they can tell them anything. They won't be mad. They might be upset, but they would rather them tell them, and they will help them figure out that situation, and they won't be in trouble so long as they don't lie. That was something in my house, dude. We lied all the time, bro. And then like I asked my mom, I was like, why did that brother get in so much more trouble than me? And I got in trouble doing cocaine. And she's like, he always came clean, and he just fucking lied. And there's like a certain thing right there. So no, in a certain aspect, I plan on having a lot of involvement in my kids. I plan on having them involved in nature. I'm not going to force them to be hunters. My dad really wanted me to go hunting when I was a kid. I was never interested. I like fishing. I like the woods. I like that stuff. I like the outdoors and fucking working outside and chopping down trees for no fucking reason. I think that's important. I don't want little video game turds. I was a little bit of the video game turd, and then I found football and girls, and that was pretty cool. But nah, I don't want to shelter my kids, but I'm going to give them a brain that they can think for themselves. When it comes to religion, right? I don't know if either of y'all are religious, but I was drilled on religion at a very, very young age. And something I realized once I was older, that if I don't believe this, not only am I defying my religion, I'm defying my parents. And so it's a double thing where it's like I'm like dishonoring my mother if I don't believe in this way of Christianity. And I've expressed like, I don't really think the Noah's Ark is real. Just It's an inkling that maybe that, and then it's you'll see it. I don't want to ostracize or make fun of these people, but they'll go, it's a miracle of God. Okay. And like, I just leave it at that. But there's certain things. It's just like, now that I have a fully formed adult brain, what do I actually think about this parable? Is it a parable? Is it a way of telling an interesting story throughout time to teach people lessons? Or is this the word of God? Is
Factual.
this someone taking mushrooms? Is this someone starving themselves for 40 days that can cause hallucinations? I think there's a lot of that. So, no. I'm pretty hopeful. I plan on protecting them, but mainly building them correctly in order to be impervious to that bullshit. Scientology, I think, probably.
Dude, tomorrow's gonna suck.
Dude, I haven't drank since the last podcast.
How long does it take for you to usually, from recording to editing? Not like the process, but like how long does it come out after?
Depends just what I have going on.
So when was the last time you drank then?
Man, I'm trying to think.
3 days ago.
No. It took me, honestly, maybe like 2 months. Probably 2 months. Just, dude, I filmed Morphin and Holly, I think like on the Marine Corps birthday of last year. I don't think I got that edited till after Bridgeport.
Trying to think of when we came back from Bridgeport.
Hold on, I don't think that lines up. Because we went to Bridgeport in September, and Marine Corps birthday is November 10th. It was some holiday. Some 96. Dude, I feel like it was. No. That'd have been a year. That doesn't make sense. I'm trying to think about it.
It was Joe and Holly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it had to have been before that then.
Yeah,
No.
well, I mean,
I don't think we did anything for the Marine Corps birthday this year. We didn't do shit, dude. Last year. Sorry, last year. Did we go on a run? We didn't do like a motor
no,
run.
we didn't do the motor run.
Nothing.
And we went to Bridgeport in September, right?
I
Yeah.
think so because we were there in October. Was it 2 months?
Damn, that sucks.
Maybe it was. We maybe recorded. I know we recorded on the Marine Corps birthday. Maybe I didn't edit it until after I failed my FMF pen. Maybe that was it. But it was a while. It was dusting off my keyboard a while. Like I had to relearn the whole editing program again. Yeah, but this has been fun. Glad you could come by. It's been 3 hours.
Damn.
We
We
can
gotta
keep
get
go-
up in 4.
Yeah. I'm gonna go watch TV.
I could sit here all day talking about freaking.
We keep going.
Killing Jews.
Whoa. Yeah, dude, Stanfield started talking about the Holocaust. I was like, dude, shut up, man.
It wasn't real, man.
Oh, that's a good one you could hear about.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
I'm not
no.
saying I
No,
believe
hold on,
that.
hold on. Wait, I'll tell you what I told Stanfield. We could get kicked off. But let's go into it. I can just chop this end off.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm not saying it's a real thing, but people talk about.
Not a real thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where they say that, you know.
You're not saying it's not a real thing. That's, hold on.
I'm
Hold
saying.
on. Hold
this
on.
is-
Yeah,
I know,
okay.
I get it.
Yeah. So one of our buddies, he tried to get me to watch this video. I never watched it, but it was a video talking about how Hitler wasn't actually a bad guy. You know how war, if whoever wins is the victor. What's the fucking saying?
Yeah. The winners.
History's written by the victor,
Yeah.
right? So obviously, America wins. We talk about whatever we want because we're the winners, right? And then we go back to World War I, right? We beat Germany. Germany goes into this state of depression, and then United Nation goes in and they say, hey, you owe this much, blah, blah, blah. Germany decides to be like, fuck you guys, we're going to make our own currency, but they say no, so that's why we start World War II. And then it goes into that, and it was basically about how Hitler, he, in a sense, yes, was racist, because he just wanted Germans to be with Germans, he wanted Mexicans to be with Mexicans, he wanted whatever race you were, you need to be with that type of people.
That was very common past World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he wanted. And it was just his thing, right? I need to start a war because the United Nations is going against us and they're going to try to keep us in debt, even though we've gotten out of this debt in a sense. Blah, 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 blah. And then, yeah, because then there's like these interviews, like I think in some of that video where they interview, I think, Jewish like prisoners, but they talk about how their camps were, and they talk about how the camps weren't even described. Like if you watch a movie or something, or some of the other like Auschwitz and stuff like that, they're like, yeah, the gas, that wasn't a thing, blah, blah, blah. So stuff like that. I didn't watch all of it, but there were certain things where I was like, you know.
Did you just defend Hitler?
No, I think he was.
I was doing the opposite of that, but you know, whatever.
No, I think he's just explaining a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's touchy. It's touchy. Certain aspects are touchy, right? So here's my political opinion on abortion. You want to know my political opinion on abortion? Might be controversial.
Let's hear it.
I don't have female productive organs. I shouldn't have the right to vote about abortion. Put that on all women to vote. That's my political opinion.
So what do you think about, very political, what do you think about, okay, so you want the kid, this make-up imaginary person, you're with your wife, right? You want to have the kid, spouse doesn't want to have the kid, right? Do you have any say in it since it's her body? Since you guys had sex, blah, 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 blah.
No, I think I'm very well versed to speak on this because my wife was just a surrogate. Did I feel the effects of her being pregnant? Yeah. Did I gain 60 pounds? No, I lost 30.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I ate one meal a day, carnivore. Did my testosterone lower? Yeah. Was it stressful? Yes. Were things harder later on in her pregnancy? Yes. But did I carry that baby? No. Did I have to deal with the childbirth? No. Do I have to deal with as emotionally if it's a stillbirth? If the baby's deformed? Is that attached to me as much as it is to her? And I can tell you it's not. She has so much more affection from the get-go, from the bat, for that baby. And as a new father, I'll say this for me, and I've heard this before, it took me a minute. Like, oh, fuck, my kid. Like, oh, shit, I don't want to break him. Or do this thing. It wasn't that bad, but, like, it's like you're kind of waking up to the fact that, like, oh, I have a fucking, I don't give this thing food, it dies. I don't fucking change his diaper, its ass rots out. Like, but the mother has this instant connection, the breastfeeding, the skin on skin, it coming out of her body, her acuity to hearing sharp noises as a female that is in her evolutionary DNA for her to hear if the baby's crying. That's why they hear things different. That's why I don't hear shit, right? Would that be a tough decision? Absolutely. But ultimately, it comes down to her because she has to make that choice. And it's something she has to live with. There are consequences. There's consequences that they don't talk about people that transition to a different gender. And it's called transgender regret. And there is a high suicide rate into people that have transitioned all to the things about living the height of life. Well, there's another thing where you obsess about something for so long and you think that thing is going to give you happiness. And then it happens. And your life is the same. So, transgender, that, right? Women that get abortions, my heart goes out to them. They are dealing with something different than me. My girlfriend in high school has dealt with something different than me, right? I don't have female reproductive. She probably didn't even orgasm. There's a joke. It's like, dude, if the only way for women to get pregnant is they had an orgasm, there'd be like 3 people. All right, but I said that to say this. African American slavery in America. That is a very hard thing for me to talk about because my 23andMe goes back to France. Weird thing I kind of realized throughout the years, and I've confirmed, is African Americans in this country, dude, their 23andMe just like falls off. It just goes down to like the South somewhere, and like, what? They didn't have documentation that way. That's kind of fucked up. The system is against them. You can call modern day slavery the prison system. 3 strikes and you're out. Fucking impoverished neighborhoods, pumping drugs into the neighborhoods, making the punishment for crack 3 times more fucking strict than cocaine, the white man's drug. That's fucked. That's hard for me to comment on and take a real hard stance when I have not been through those things. Do I have my opinion? Yes, I have my opinion. But also, I think we're lacking empathy in certain things where it's like, damn, dude, that sucks, man. That sucks. Like your family heritage only goes back like 200 years. That's fucking pretty wild. That sucks that you've gone to places and you felt uncomfortable because you're in like the deep South, or like people are looking at you differently and judging you because of the color of your skin. That sucks. I've never felt that. And I have empathy for that. I have my opinions, but like, dude, I've walked in to like the CP and they're like, there used to be white slaves. This is bullshit. No. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, if I were to say something to that person, it would be, yo, if I was black, or if a black dude walked in, would you be so bold to be saying all those fucking things you're saying? There used to be white slaves, black man. Like, yo, what the fuck? Now, does this write a check for I can do anything I want and you're a fucking piece of shit white dude because white people in the past owned slaves and all white people are bad? No, that's pretty much my opinion. Really, as far as it goes, it was a tragedy. And then I guess to like kind of talk about the history, the winners write their own shit, right? That's a hard thing to talk about because I'm not Jewish. Nothing to do with that, really. I wasn't there. That was 45. We're like 20 years away from that being 100 years ago, right? So that's 80 years ago. World War II was 45, something like that. That's pretty far removed. I would say the discrepancy would be, how did we calculate all of that? Seems pretty hard for what we had back then to calculate that. A funny joke. I don't know, not really a joke, but a funny comment. Ari Shaffir, the comedian on Joe Rogan, it was like, doesn't that 6 million sound like a pretty even number? It's not 6,000,001, 6,000,002, 6,500,000, nothing. Just 6 million. Boom. That's where we're going to leave it at. That's a hard one. Now, the little bit I know about World War II from the FMF book, I'm not really good at history. I think a big thing with it, I'm not saying Hitler's a good dude. I don't think that's correct. I think
He's going to say it.
I think he caused many atrocities. But I think one of the main catalysts of the war was Winston Churchill bombing Germany. Was that? He bombed somebody, right? And like killed a bunch of fucking civilians and like really kind of started that shit off. And before that, I don't think Hitler was doing much. I don't think he was on the war parade. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I was in public school, man.
Yeah.
I taught the history books.
I think it kind of goes into this fucking Ukraine-Russia bullshit. And from what it sounds like is there's 3 bad groups involved. The Russians, Ukrainians, and the Americans. And I don't think anybody's doing the right thing right now.
No.
From what Joe Rogan, Dave Smith, and a few other people have explained is we are propping up a proxy war, meaning we are using other people and their resources through our funding from a war that we have antagonized and propped up since 2010 from the very corrupt Ukraine. Ukraine has been in Joe Biden's pocket since he was a vice president through his son. We have moved our borders closer to Russia over and over again. We have moved, not our borders, but we have encroached on the border over and over again by putting missiles closer and closer to the border. Putin said, don't do that. Putin said, don't join, I think, the United Nations. He said, if you do that, I will attack you. They kept this corrupt place, Ukraine, kept doing the thing. We kept provoking, doing the thing. And I think it's very ironic that shortly after the end of the Afghanistan war, we are involved in another war machine.
It's money.
It's money.
It's money, man. It's good money.
It's money, it's power, manipulation, controlling of the populace.
Do you really think Joe Biden has any idea what's going on right now?
No, I think Patrick Bet-David, because I've kind of always wondered this. It's been echoed on podcasts, like who's running the show? It's not him. It's not Kamala Harris. They're both idiots.
Yeah.
Patrick Bet-David thinks it's the president of BlackRock, who has $10 trillion in assets, that is very political minded, has some very interesting things to say. And I was talking about the ultra billionaires, right? The people that are completely isolated. They run on a different they have a different brain, money, power, influence, all these things. Woody, dude, if I'd tell you a couple things I'd buy if I had a few $1 million, I would make that truck out there fucking pristine. Dude, amazing. I would buy a dope ass place out in Texas. I already found it. I don't think it's worth $16 million. I think it's worth $3 million, what it was last sold at. And I think Joe Rogan's probably lives pretty around there. His house sold for 20, and I think they're fucking price gouging. That's bullshit. I'll buy that. My kids would go to great schools, and we'd all eat super organic and fucking
Meat only.
meat. Yeah. Dude, I ate pizza today, all right?
Proud of you.
Thanks, man. But $10 trillion, dude, what can't you buy? Who can't you influence? And if you want to be the president, but you don't want to deal with the fucking criticism, why not just buy your own president? That's the George Soros theory, right? And another interesting thing about him, Patrick Bet-David, I actually kind of talked fondly of him. You know who George Soros is? It's in the conspiracy zeitgeist, but it's pretty well established. Billionaire, Jewish guy. Obama's like mentor. In the pockets of a lot of people, influences a lot of things. Now, when it goes like, oh, George Soros is paying the protesters, right? Like, okay, I don't know about that. But I think George Soros he's a globalist. He wants, which is kind of biblical. The how is the United Nations not wants one world government, but his thing is I think his mother was raped, and I think he was like helpless to do anything about it, and I think it was like a hate crime on top of that of her being Jewish, and his thing is like kind of over obsessive with like equality and justice in the way where he's manipulating things in order, like, you don't know about the ESG. I think that was him that was in that shit. It's like the thing Bud Light got in trouble for, like it was a ranking system for your inclusiveness and your political correctness in your corporation. And Bud Light was at like the top, and now they're down $27 billion and they're not doing well. And since Patrick Bet-David went on Joe Rogan and spoke on the biggest platform, everybody's getting away from ESG. They're dropping this because it's affecting their bottom line. Yeah. Anyway, I think Hitler killed a bunch of people. I think he discriminated against Jews. I'm not very well read, but man, that's a hard uphill battle to argue against. And also, I don't like, kind of like y'all said in the beginning, like, dude, what's the point? You're on, what was it, like TikTok or something, or what did I comment on? Like, I'm anti-TikTok, right?
Oh yeah, just talking about Chinese.
Yeah. And you're just like, what's the point? And it's like, I don't know what the point is to like really argue about that. I feel like this is a losing battle. Like it's the N word, dude.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. You're talking about billionaires, and there's a boom, 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 boom. We're probably like 500 steps down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
just about.
It's like, what does it matter?
Yeah, we're pond scum.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing is like, it's such an interesting thing, and it is hard to have a candid conversation about it. And I tried to have one at work, and it wasn't anything like but it's trying to get to the root of the N word. He's a black man. One dude in there, it's like not a big deal to him. This other guy is very different. Don't say that. I'm like, well, it's in books. So can I read the book out loud? It's in songs. Can I sing the song out loud? Can I sing the song out loud around people? Or am I that white girl that gets blasted on stage or whatever the fuck, right? It is a word. And I look up the definition today, and I was so disappointed in the answer. And I was like, a derogatory term, negative context, a slur towards black people. And it didn't even say that, meant to degrade people, known as the most controversial word in the English language. I was like, nothing about the history, nothing in here, Webster's dictionary. And again, I'm a libertarian. I think you should be able to do whatever you want, but I don't curse around my mother. So I respect my mother not to say certain things around her. And if I'm around someone that would be terribly offended by me saying that, I will respect that. And also, I don't like to throw that around because I'm in the federal employment of the military, and you can get NJP'd for saying that word, right? But I can say anything I want. But if I say it here on this podcast, and this podcast goes somewhere, and then I'm Joe Rogan 20 years from now, and I don't want to get the vaccine, and they go throughout all of my podcasts and say, I said that word thinking that I'm just some E4 in the military in my house in San Clemente. Like, who gives a fuck, dude? But then later on, it destroys my career. I'm trying to get a job at Amazon, and they fucking find it, you know? That's a weird, powerful thing. A fight I'm not willing to fight because why? Why do I? And then so I'm talking to this other dude. He's black, and he's like, "Yeah, man, this dude on ship said it, and like this other guy wanted to fight him and like would not let it go. And then my command comes up to me like, hey, you trying to fight some dude? He's like, why? Because I'm black? I'm like, well, we heard it was like a big black dude. He's like, that's almost more racist than the N-word thing. But, and he's just like, I don't really give a fuck, man. It's not worth my time. Okay, that's his opinion. But some scrappy motherfucker, is that a fight? I don't go around looking for fights. So am I just going to say this word that can get me into a fight? Am I going to go into a church and start saying the F word? It's like, be respectful, but it's this weird thing I haven't quite figured out. I don't know, man.
The forbidden fruit. Just because you can't say it makes you
I can, though. I can say it right now. I can say it right now, but I choose not to. But there's this weird thing. There's this weird anxiety behind it.
Freedom of speech?
Yeah, but not the freedom to not get fired.
I love smoking pot, dude.
That's cool. It was cool. I liked it. But I thought I was getting out. I was definitely looking forward to that. And when I got out of the Marine Corps, I rushed. I didn't want to rush into it, but I stopped in Arizona with this dude that had a pill problem. And he's like, let's get some weed. And he like put up no money. Like me and my buddy wound up putting up money we didn't really have because he was like, oh no, this shit's supposed to be this price. And he's like, oh yeah, you're right. And wind up just like covering the cost of that end. And it was shitty. And just getting uncomfortably high at someone's house I wasn't really friends with in Arizona. It wasn't a great situation. But my wife, she smokes, and she just told me, she's like, you just can't be a pothead. You have to be a fucking functioning father. You can't be like doped out all the time. Like, yeah. So that's something I am leery of because I'm usually all the way in or all the way out. And so something about weed, this is something I haven't figured out either. Like, it's not socially acceptable to wake up and just drink Jack Daniels, right? But how often do you wake up and smoke weed?
I actually don't.
Right, but that's a thing, right? Wake and bake, dude. Wake and bake, dude. My buddy was a home builder, and he used to hit a vape pen all day, every day, all day, every day. And he took on some, he's actually pretty skilled carpenter. He would do like some furniture building stuff. Came up pretty fucking cool. He would just like get his mind right, dude, just smoking bowls. And I tried that a couple times. And I'm like afraid of power tools. I'm like dropping shit. I'm like foggy. I can't get like my train of thought correct. I'm like all over the place. Oh, where's my pencil? Like all this shit. But he's like zoned in. And so when I did construction, I would never smoke weed. I would just smoke weed when I got home. Like complete opposite, dude. But like, what if I just sipped a little bit of JD throughout the day, every day?
Be great.
I think that's called an alcoholic. I wonder what heroin's like.
I think if I get like terminal cancer or something, I'd give it a try.
Well, they'll give it to you in pill form, buddy.
Well, I want like full experience, like hunched over,
Just
heroined out.
I think you just need to cook it into something, right?
Spoon.
Is it just a spoon? You don't need to dissolve it into sugar or something?
It's like so it's a rock. You put on a spoon, you heat the spoon up, melts.
That's real heroin, but I'm talking about like Oxy or anything. Like you can still boost that shit, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
But do you have to mix it with something?
I think you just snort it.
But if you want the main vein, bro.
Oh fuck, I don't know.
Tell me how
you
to do it
with
dude.
Oxy, bro. Shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think you crush it down into. You probably reconstitute it.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
Medical terms.
Yeah, that would make perfect sense. Yeah, definitely want to do heroin before I die though. If I were to die young.
I think I'm allergic to Percocet.
That's sad.
Yeah, it makes me itchy. I don't like it. I don't like Percocet. this, I've tried to stop this.
I've tried to stop this. So
I did stop that. It was good. And then I was getting put on these field ops. And a field op, guess what everybody's doing? Vaping. Hey, let me hit your vape. Hey, let me hit your vape. And I feel like a piece of shit. I'm like, I got this field op. I'm going to be around this person that always hit their vape. I'm going to go buy one. Of course, California laws, so I have to fucking drive around to every exchange to try and find a flavored vape. And just haven't stopped, man. And I'll do it too often, and I'll get like nothing. And then I take weekends usually. I have this for the crosses tomorrow. That Monday hit, dude. Oh, dude, it's like 15 seconds of just fucking orgasmic bliss. And if I could just continue that for the rest of my life, I gotta figure that out. You know what tray panning is?
Tray panning?
Mm-hmm.
No, I never heard of it.
It's where you notch the front of your skull to let your brain expand. And apparently you feel like elated for the rest of your life.
Oh, shit.
This hippie lady that fell in love with the pigeon did it.
It's kind of hot. Did she fuck the pigeon?
I don't know. She probably had a bush. Probably ate bird feed out of it. And
Oh, my gosh.
ate the flakes.
You got no vices, do you?
No.
Yeah.
Beaten off. That's another one. I've actually cooled out on that a little bit.
I need to.
Yeah.
Stayed pretty
Well,
clean.
Apparently
I
it
feel like
turns.
I always need to.
Apparently it turns you gay.
Is there any actual?
I think so.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I think the perversions, like statistically, it's like just the perversions like keep growing and like
It all comes down to addiction, man.
algorithmically like points you towards gayness.
It's addiction.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Money, addiction. Keep growing. Keep
I want
growing.
money. I want money, dude. I'm like obsessing over it right now. What?
Yeah, man.
I want more money. I'm
I don't
trying to
blame you,
I'm trying to
man.
figure out how to make more money, and it's hard when you're in E4.
You don't get paid much at all
No,
in the military.
I don't.
It's ass.
Yeah.
I'm actually financially stable and I feel very comfortable and I can do just about anything I want now. For
You
the
mind
first
me
time
asking
in like 6 years.
how much do you consider your income like you and your fiance, or just you?
Just me.
How much do you make a month with like everything going on, if you don't mind me asking?
So after taxes, I made like 7,000 a month.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, it's pretty great. It's disability, dude. It's sick.
I should get a handicap plate.
I know I need to.
Those people piss me off.
It's because I'm hurting, dude. I'm just like,
I need to park at the front. I would feel so bad.
I have a question about that then. The handicap thing. Did you ever hear the story of a certain person who got a handicap thing?
Velasco.
Do you know if that's true?
The fat bald dude?
no,
That's
Velasco.
Velasquez.
Oh, I don't know. I'll text him.
I was just curious because I heard that.
Yeah, I'm
Yo,
pretty sure that's
bitch.
true.
You got fucking handicap? That's kind of fucked.
Dude, stop taking SARMs.
Well, just take real steroids. They're not expensive. I'm on steroids.
Come on, dude. Are you on TRT?
Yeah.
You're on TRT though.
Yeah, go to a clinic. I
Okay,
went
okay.
today.
Okay.
Navy doesn't like it.
How are they gonna know?
They know.
Oh, what'd you do?
So I thought I was getting out, and I was like, fuck it, dude. My brother says it's great. Let me go get checked. I go to a doctor close to LA, get my blood drawn. Hey, 358. That's low, dude.
Yeah,
You're
it's pretty low.
34 years old. That's pretty low. I didn't have a higher BMI. What?
What's the low? What's like the...
I'll get there. So I'm on it for like 8 weeks, and then they do another blood draw. And they do a lot more than just like testosterone, right? And they say, hey, you have a high CRP level, which is like a clotting factor, stroke factor. I'm like, oh, fuck. They're like, so we're going to hold off on your injections until we get a repeat test. We need you to fast come in and do another one. And then to continue, we need your primary healthcare provider to sign off on it, because we're urologists, we're not heart doctors, we're not any of that. So I'm like, fuck. So I'm off of it for like 7 weeks. And my IDC was really cool. I'm like, hey, I got a situation. I need to talk to you, like closed doors. Like, hey, I've been on TRT for a while. I'm doing it correctly. I'm out at a clinic. It's a doctor. They're saying I have high CRP. I need a primary care physician. I think I probably could get testosterone. And like talking to Morphin and like certain people he was telling me about, like in our command, they're like, yeah, dude, people are on TRT. It's prescribed. I'm like, okay. He's like, dude, what's your level? Oh, dude, 34 years old. Fucking, yeah, you qualify. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, I want to get a referral for TRT. Maybe I can be getting this shit for free, but also I want to get my panels drawn again for the CRP thing and figure this out, because this might be something I have to deal with when I'm older. Maybe I need to cease testosterone fully, and like maybe I have a heart condition. I don't know. So she's like, yeah, totally. I'm like, am I going to get in trouble? I'm telling you this in confidence. She's like, no, dude, like this is standard shit. You're good. We're doing it the right way. Do not be afraid about going to an outside clinic. Okay. Go get my blood drawn, and then I get a referral to urology, and they do a testosterone in that panel as well. Explain my whole thing. Hey man, I was getting out. My brother's on it. Went to a clinic out in town. Oh, why didn't you come to us? I didn't want to feel like dealing with the red tape, honestly. It's getting out. This guy's a doctor. He's, oh, you know, those clinics, you know, they're not always, they're businesses. I'm like, this is a business. This is a hospital. I'm keeping this to myself. But like, and he looks it up. He's like, I bounced right back. Like, it was off for 7 weeks. Bounced right back. I'm like right at 358 again, like on the dot. He's like, man, this is good. I'm like, clinically, it's below 300, I believe. And I'm 58 points away from that. So like, and dude, he even said it. He's like, man, if you want testosterone, I'll give you testosterone. But like, I don't think you really need to be on it. But why don't we get a second opinion from an endocrinologist? All right. Refers me down to Balboa. Takes a good bit of time. In that time, I get a call back from the clinic. Like, hey, this actually went across someone else's desk. They reviewed it. Do you have any blood, like history of blood clots? Like, no. They're like, oh, then you're cleared. That's all. You can get back on, we'll prescribe you TRT again. Like, okay. And I'm thinking, like, I'm about to go to endocrinology. They're going to see my levels. 358 is pretty low for a 34-year-old. And they'll prescribe it to me. And so I get back on TRT. I go in. I'm being honest with everybody. And I'm being honest with this endocrinologist, this female. I'm like, yeah, I'm back on it again. And she's just like, oh, these clinics, they just want to make a dime. You probably signed a waiver, all this shit, blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't be on it. I was like, but I am on it. And I feel great on it. I was pretty fucking depressed, man. And granted, certain life factors, like I thought I was basically getting forced out of the military. I tried very hard on something that didn't come true. Later on, I did make it, but like it was very stressful and fucking like I actually wanted to stay in this organization, and I was basically being forced out, right? So go to this endocrinologist and I'm like, you know, I'm on it. I feel great. Here's my reason why I'm on it. Why you're saying it's not low enough, but it is pretty low, but not officially. She pulled up something and was like, oh, this is age range. Boom, bro. She's going so fast. And like, got to be like 280 or something. I'm like, okay, so I'm 58 points off. I'm like, so you're not going to prescribe it, even though I feel good. She goes, and I thought this was such a bananas analogy. She goes, does cocaine make you feel good? I'm like, I'm not going to answer. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm sure it does. She goes, you think I'm going to prescribe you cocaine because it feels good? I'm like, okay. I understand where the writing on the wall is on this. You don't approve of what I'm doing. You're not going to prescribe me testosterone. What trips me up, two more things trip me up. Well, 3 things. First of all, she's like, I think she mentioned something about like sperm count and being around a pregnant female. And she's like, yeah, this can affect you. I'm like, okay, yeah, my wife's pregnant. She's like, and you were on steroids when you got her pregnant? I'm like, no, it's a surrogacy. And like she said, she's like, oh, when I have a child, I'm going to do that. I don't want to ruin my body. I was like, that's odd. Then she said, with my transgender patients that are on testosterone, and something about like, they're not even at this or they're whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then at the end, she's like, if you continue this, you can get kicked out of the military. You can get ADCEPT. I'm like, oh, okay. And I was super polite, like how I'm interacting with doctors. I'm very polite and straightforward, just being honest, trying to have a candid conversation. I was like, man, that kind of came out of left field. And that was the end of it. I'm like, okay. She's like, thank you for your time. And I leave. Like, fuck it. Well, I guess I'm keeping this a secret from the fucking military. Fucking make me feel like shit. Thought I was doing. Yes, I'm going to an outside clinic, but I didn't think I was really doing anything wrong, right? No. And then like randomly, I get an email or a phone call or something. It's like, hey, we have you scheduled for urology on this date. Does that still work? Like, yeah, okay. I go in, talk to this dude, same guy. I'm like, yeah, that was a weird conversation. It was almost like she was mad at me. And he's like, okay. And he like reads the note and he goes, yeah, this is a pretty pointed note. It was very long. I read it myself. Like I looked myself up. I was like, she said like disciplinary action, like admin step. He's like, no, do not worry about that. He's like, look, man, it seems like you got taken advantage of. You probably signed a waiver. And I got my documentation from the TRT clinic. He's like, you signed a waiver. This is like an experimental thing. Technically, that's how they prescribe it. This is cash for play. I'm like, it's all cash for play in my head. And he's like, I'm so glad you're off it. You don't need to be on that stuff, man. You're good, man. Don't worry about it. I'm like, I am on it. And then I talked to my MO. I was like, hey, did the IDC tell you what's going on? He's like, yeah. It's like, sir, like, what the fuck? Like, what's up? He's like, yeah, man, you, like, technically I shouldn't, like, condone you being on that. Technically I should say something, but, like, I'm not. I was like, what about this? He's like, yeah, again, this is a very pointed letter or a pointed fucking note from this endocrinologist. Sounds like she was personally offended. I was like, that's what I thought. And he's like, don't worry about it. Do your thing. There are things you can take naturally, ashwagandha, whatever the fuck. And he's like, do you plan on staying on it? I was like, well, no, I can't really. I'm going to Italy, but I'm mainly on it because my wife is pregnant as fuck. And like, I feel those effects. He's like, yeah, man, like, we can't prescribe it. You have 2 doctors that outrank in the medical system. If I would just give it to you, that would just like go against 2 other literally high ranking doctors and physicians of that expertise. And so, yeah, that's the TRT story. Today though, I told them, I was like, hey, I want to come off. And they're like, okay, we'll figure out a plan. Like, all right, sweet. Hopefully I grow tits, dude.
Dudes, it's late.
Yeah. All right. That's 2 hours, 38 minutes.
You said 3 hours. Like
signing off. 38 minutes ago, I said 3 hours.
Oh.